Cork City may be in the doldrums, but the Cup can bring some respite and even a big day out at the Aviva Stadium at the end of what has been a difficult season. Pats won't be doing them any favours though, as the Saints need a shot at Cup glory to enhance their prospects of European football next season. And by the way, these two teams met at exactly the same stage of this competition 2 years ago.
A really, really good atmosphere for the Cup semi-final. Keating goes for goal! Save. Oh, what a goal! And that could be it. And it's St. Pat's against Bows in the final.
Cork City's struggles in the league are well documented this season, but their home form has improved in recent weeks, and manager Jerry Nash will point to the 1-1 draw with champions-in-waiting Shamrock Rovers as a source of inspiration for this evening's Cup semi-final against St. Patrick's Athletic. They face a Pat side though with cup-winning pedigree within their ranks, having won the FAI Cup in 2021 and 23. Their recent good run of form may have been interrupted in Sligo last Saturday, but in Stephen Kenny, they've a manager who knows what it takes to go all the way in this competition, and today marks his 1,000th game in senior club management. It's the first of the weekend's two Sports Direct FAI Cup semi-finals. Cork City against St. Patrick's Athletic kicking off at 7:30 this evening here at Turner's Cross. And then on Sunday, we're at Tallaght Stadium in Dublin for Shamrock Rovers against Kerry in the second semi-final. And here to enhance your viewing pleasure this evening, Alan Cawley and Stuart Byrne will be talking to the boys very shortly. But first, a man who in these parts in particular needs no introduction whatsoever. Let's go to Tony O'Donoghue for the team news.
Thanks very much indeed, Peter. Yeah, and before I give you the team news, you can see the shed behind me. Cork are hoping that the support of the home crowd will be the 12th man tonight, because they're certainly underdogs. But Cork almost certainly facing relegation from the Premier Division this season. There's said to be a fan protest in opposition to the owner of the club, and that should happen before kick-off, and maybe a question of throwing loo rolls onto the pitch. Well, the wind is blowing down into the shed area, so they might be blowing right back against them, and the wind will be a factor. Thankfully, the rain has stopped, and hopefully we get a good semi-final because of that. Cork have made 3 changes from their last game against Galway, defeat to Galway. Captain Fiacre Keller, who has been suffering with an ankle injury for a number of weeks, he did play last week, but he sits out tonight and he's on the bench. Matthew Kiernan and Caden Kamara also dropped to the bench. Captain tonight will be Seanie Maguire, who scored the winning goal for Cork in the 2016 FAI Cup final at the Aviva Stadium. And coming in for Cork tonight, Charlie Lyons, the experienced Greg Bulger and Kit Nelson. On to St. Pat's, and they'll be overwhelming favourites this evening. As you mentioned, Stephen Kenny's 1,000th game in charge. They'll be looking to get to the FAI Cup final for the 3rd time in 5 years. And Ryan McLaughlin comes in for Axel Sjoberg, who's suspended, and Chris Forrester, the mercurial Chris Forrester, coming in for Barry Bagley. So we're looking forward to it. Hopefully the conditions are good for football and this wind doesn't whip up and ruin everything on us.
Yes, indeed, Tony. Well, the conditions are a whole lot better than we actually expected, considering the weather we had overnight. But it's calmed down quite a bit now, and conditions not too bad, Alan. First of all, can we talk about the situation here at Cork City? Not exactly ideal. A fans' protest on the night of a semi-final. Is that an unnecessary distraction for the Cork City players this evening?
I think it is, to be honest with you, Peter. I have no problems with the fans obviously showing their discontent or having a protest, as you says, and that's likely to happen tonight. But I feel on the biggest night of the season, it's been a very disappointing season for Cork City on the pitch and off the pitch, but particularly on the pitch as they're facing into relegation for the 2nd time in 3 seasons. But tonight there is so much at stake in terms of an opportunity to play in our showpiece game in the Aviva in a few weeks. With that also there's the opportunity to potentially qualify for Europe. I know it's a tough road having to beat St. Pat's and potentially Shamrock Rovers or Kerry, but it's a huge night for these players, and why throw in that distraction? I don't get it. I think it'll be counterproductive myself, Peter, but as I said, it seems as though it's going ahead.
Yeah, they have a lot on their plate at the moment, Cork City, Stuart, and I suppose facing relegation in the face as well in the Premier Division, probably bound for the First Division next season. They have a lot to contend with, but at the end of the day, this is a cup semi-final.
Yeah, it could work in their favour, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it just depends on how focused they are. Normally at this stage of the season, mentality is a huge part of kind of getting you over the line. I mean, obviously the relegation stuff hasn't been good for them, but when they come into the end of the season, a situation like this, you've got a chance to get into a cup final. I just feel that it could be an opportunity. I mean, we might hear from the manager for them just throw caution to the wind and just go for it. The way they play will probably tend to suit that. They can be quite good, quite direct. They've got that ability to kind of pick up long balls and have that little bit of intricacy high up the pitch and get goals. That's what they did again against Finn Harps, and there's no reason why they can't do it tonight.
Yeah, okay, well, Jerry Nash, the Cork City manager, has joined us. And Jerry, we've just been talking about some of the difficulties the club is encountering at the moment. How difficult has it been for you to get the players to focus on the big job in hand tonight? It's a cup semi-final.
It hasn't been difficult. There's a real unity behind the scenes with us. We're a new group in terms of maybe reforming halfway through the season. There's been a lot of challenges, like you said, but they're a group that's fighting. There's going to be a big crowd here tonight. We need to get them off their feet. We need to get them cheering for us and helping us. And in our recent games here, our form's been good. They've been a big part of that. They've been great for us. Look, we're looking forward to the game. It's a massive game for us. Great opportunity for the players and staff to get to the Aviva, and we're desperate for it.
Yeah, how much emphasis have you been placing on the relatively recent home form? Because, as you said, it has been good.
Yeah, look, there's been a good synergy, in Turner's Cross between everybody for the last couple of months here, and it's hugely important. So it's been the best spell for us in that regard. So look, it definitely helps us. There's no doubt about it. There's a good feeling here. We hope that continues tonight. It's the biggest crowd of the season, like I said. And look, to be honest, we're desperate for the fans as well to give them something, especially ones who travel away from home. Had some difficult days there, so back here, we're desperate to give them something to shout about.
It's important that the fans get behind you tonight, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a huge game. We've been a really young group. We've got a little bit more experience tonight with Greg Bulger and Shawnee Maguire sort of playing both in the team. We haven't had that too often.
Yeah.
Rory Feely as well in the back line. So across those three units, we've got certainly more experience than we've had since I've came to the club. So we're hoping they can play a big part in it, and the fans will no doubt play a massive part as well.
Yeah, I was just chatting to Peter there about the whole mentality, especially at this end of the season. The end of the season, there's a relegation playoff, but tired bodies, tired minds. The fact that you've played Pats quite recently and been on the end of a bit of a drubbing, does that have a positive effect on it tonight? Can you throw caution to the wind and say, let's have a go at this?
Yeah, we have to react to that. But I think there's a freshness because it's the cup. We've done well in this competition. We've obviously looked at the first round. We should always win the game against a non-league side, but we've beat Warford here. We've gone all the way to Finn Harps. We've won away from home there. It's a difficult place to go for any team. So there's a freshness to this competition, and look, to go and play in the Aviva, there's no greater motivation. So no, we're fully up for this game. We can't wait.
In terms of the fan stuff, Ger, has it been a bit of a distraction? Because we're speaking tonight about obviously a protest potentially. I think myself, my own opinion, it would be counterproductive on such a big night for the players. How do you feel about it?
We have to face it. We have to deal with it. Look, the fans, like I said, they pay their money. The ones who travel away from home especially have been brilliant, supporting the team home in difficult away games. We have to deal with it. We have to concentrate on what we can concentrate on, which is putting a good performance in tonight. So that's what our focus is on. And
it's a huge club. Like, we've had great times down here in recent times when Cork were going toe to toe with Dundalk, and we know from our playing days a massive club. But just in terms of you knowing it was a big club taking over, and you would have known it was a difficult job in what you were taking over from as well, has it been a lot more difficult in terms of what you expected?
Yes, look, I think everyone knew from the outside it was going to be a huge challenge. When you come inside, it's probably even bigger than that. That's the reality. But look, I know how it looks from the outside, but I can promise you there's actually a unity within the group. There is a unity within the group. We've newly formed, I would say. You look at the team tonight, I've got a group of players who really care, and a group of players, a number of them signed long-term contracts to come and live here. So we're trying to create that identity. There's been a huge amount of change at the football club. We're trying to create something. It's not gone the way we want in the second half of the season, but there's a lot of people here who want to bring this club back to where it should be. Brilliant.
Okay, well, Jerry, we certainly wish you the very best of luck this evening, and many thanks for coming out to join us. Jerry Nash, the Cork City manager there. And Stuart, I was just thinking while Jerry was speaking there, it's very recent since Cork City won back-to-back FAI Cup finals. I mean, a city of this size should have a team, should have them competing at the top, and should have them back in the Premier Division.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I mean that's always been the case. Anytime as a player you ever come here, it's a fantastic stadium, wonderful place to play. I think it shows you how quickly things can change in League of Ireland football, and how quickly they can come back as well. So maybe that the Cork City can kind of take a bit of positive out of that.
Okay, we've been joined now by Pat's manager, Stephen Kenny. Stephen, good to see you once again.
Hi, Peter.
Congratulations, 1,000 games in senior club football. It's an awful lot, and obviously some of the most memorable moments during those 1,000 games must have come in the FAI Cup.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very special competition. I've been lucky enough to within 8 finals, and it's you know, it's an incredible competition, and especially since it's moved to the National Stadium, and it's you know, it's a great opportunity for whoever wins tonight.
Yeah. Now, we saw in the quarter-final that Galway came to Inchicore and they gave you a really good game. It goes to show that league positions really are almost irrelevant on cup night, aren't they?
Well, especially all the teams in the league, it's you know, a very narrow margin. I think we've had a tough run in the cup because we had to beat Shelbourne and Galway. So it's our third Premier Division team in a row, and so you know, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, recently you beat them 4-0, but again, that was in the league. The cup has a different dynamic to it, but surely that feeds into your preparation for tonight's game.
Well, I think they're two completely different games. We were at home midweek, and we really turned it on. But it's we got early goals. I suppose that can be the difference. But I don't see the two games being the same. I think we're going to have to earn every single thing tonight. Coming right into the lines down here, you have to really earn it, and we'll have to do that tonight.
What's the secret?
Because of course for Cork City, it's a huge occasion for them. You know, big home game. They're struggling in the league, staring relegation in the face. So this is their final chance, really, at getting something out of this season, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Listen, they've had some good results recently here, and drew with Shamrock Rovers in the previous week, and won at home as well against Waterford. So we'll have to be at our best to get a result.
I was going to ask, what's the secret to 1,000 games?
Good players.
Being the Ireland manager in between,
I think good players is
not having to deal with him, Stephen.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think you scored a good goal in the cup to knock Cork out here. That was quite a few years ago for Longford.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
You know, for Longford. But I think I've had the privilege of managing so many good players over the years, and so many good coaches to work alongside. It's been a privilege, but I've a bit more to do. You know,
2,000, is it?
What?
2,000.
Does it, Stephen, just on that, does it feel like, obviously 1,000 seems like an unbelievable figure, and congratulations on that, but is the appetite still as strong as ever? Does it diminish after a period of games or anything like that?
No, you know, the defeats are hard to take even now.
Yeah.
The day they're stopping, you know, I'd probably this is time to finish. But
you're looking fresh on it anyway.
I don't know. I'm the same age as Solskjaer, but he certainly looks a lot fresher than I do.
I don't know about that. He's a lot greater than you, Stephen.
But Stephen, you still have the appetite to get to another FAI Cup final, because they are very special days, aren't they?
Yeah, no, incredible. But this is a semi-final.
Yeah.
We can't dream too much about the final. We've got to roll up our sleeves. The pitch is soft tonight.
Yeah.
Considering all the rain, we were in Cork yesterday. Considering all the rain, it's very soft in that half, particularly. It's long, so we're going to have to, you know, we're going to have to move the ball quickly. Cork have picked a good tactical team themselves tonight, and so may the best team win. You know, it's a real effort. We're not dreaming about the final now. We've created that picture for the players early, but not in the last day or so, because we know it's all about this game.
Yeah. Well, Stephen, we wish you the very best of luck this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out to join us.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Stephen Kenny there, manager of St. Patrick's Athletic. We're counting down to kick-off. Cup final place, of course, in the balance, and we'll continue our countdown to kick-off very shortly.
This is the day out. This is the blue ribbon. This is the one that puts the icing on the cake. Fantastic ball in. 1-1, Mark Doyle. Onside here. Oh, there's the equaliser. Mulroney, another fabulous ball. Oh, it's not enough. Novak. Cork have won the cup. Lonergan. Cork City win the double. St. Pat's reclaim the FAI Cup.
Yes, but who will it be to make the cup final this season? Well, tonight it's Cork City against St. Patrick's Athletic, and it has to be said, Cork City did a good job in the quarter-final going up to Finn Harps. It's a difficult place to go. and win there, Stuart. And it was interesting, the goals they scored, quite direct but well taken.
Yeah, don't underestimate this. This looks like Group 1 football, but have a look at Evan McLaughlin there, on the move already, kind of anticipating the mistakes, and they've got a little bit to do after that. Wonderful little bit of individual skill. Same again, big long punt out. Maguire already anticipating the defender's going to make the mistake, and that's something that's going to be hugely difficult for Pats to kind of deal with. When you have players like that are just looking for those little bit of errors, that they're always there waiting. This is a wonderful bit of individual skill from Maguire, kind of setting it up. That's McLaughlin, but then it eventually falls back to him again, finishes the second time round. But you know, you can very easily look at that and say, well, look, it's Route 1 football, it's easy to defend. But when you've got players like McLaughlin, Maguire, they're canny, they're clever, they're cute. They're the kind of players that are waiting for you to make a mistake. And we all know players make mistakes in games, especially in semi-finals, especially when the conditions are the way they are. And if Pats do make mistakes at the back, those two players are going to be the two that are going to capitalise on it.
Yeah, so they'll have to be on their guard. And one of the players that Cork will have to keep a very close eye on tonight is Cian Levy. He was very good in the quarter-final against Galway, Alan. He has plenty of tricks up his sleeve.
He's a real live wire, a throwback, Peter, a ball carrier. If you see him here, this is him on the outside left position, jinking one way, then went down the outside, gets a ball into the box, and he caused all sorts of problems in the quarter-final for Galway. But it's picking the ball up in areas like this, Peter. You see both feet, he's quite comfortable on both feet as well, always looking to advance into dangerous positions. This is absolutely brilliant, talking about the ball carrying. He just gets the team, relieves pressure, and just gets you up the pitch into the final third where you want to cause problems. The only little issue I have with Cian Levy, he doesn't score enough goals, Peter. He's played 24 games this season, he's only got 2 goals, and even in the clips that were shown, a lot of his good work is done in defensive areas, carrying the ball 40, 50, 60 yards at times. I'd love to see him picking the ball up in the final third where he can play killer passes and play people in, or even get on the end of things himself. That's the only downside to him, but to be fair to him, he adds an awful lot of endeavour, enthusiasm, energy to the team, and I think he'll be a key player tonight, and one that Cork City will certainly have to watch.
Yeah, he's certainly one of the players that the fans certainly enjoy watching, because he certainly loves to take on players, and as Alan said, maybe if the final ball's a little bit better, he could have a significant contribution this evening. Looking back to their quarter-final against Galway, as we mentioned to Stephen, Galway made it difficult for them, but in the end, Stuart, did you always feel that extra little bit of quality that Pats had on the night, that players like Chris Forrester and Levy and others, that they do make a difference?
Yeah, a little bit of a few things, I'd have to say. Probably maybe the fitness levels were a little bit better, that little bit of experience. Alan rightly talks about Levy. I'd also say that Levy also kind of got them going a little bit, and they were able to respond to it. This is the goal, power offloads to Mulroney. You know, wonderful little bit of individual skill, just gets it onto that right foot, really sharp backlift, and catches the goalkeeper out. I mean, Seth and Alan were at this game, and we were kind of critical of the goalkeeper for this, which he never really scored at, and then this is the third goal, which was the icing on the cake for Pats. But as you rightly say, and Stephen said it even afterwards, they didn't start well in the game, Pats, and they really did ride their luck an awful lot, especially in the first half, but they just managed to find something, and ultimately came out winners.
I find with Pats, Peter, and I suppose the stats back it up in terms of the league table where they're at, the amount of games they've won, drawn and lost. It's 12 wins, 10 draws, 10 defeats. They're so inconsistent. Even their last 3 games, it's a win, draw, loss, and it kind of sums up the season. So I think there's a real good opportunity for Cork City tonight if they get in among Stephen. You heard him speaking to us as well there, Peter. He's already concerned about the fact that the grass is long, it's a bit kind of soft, so it's already in his head, and I think that will play into Cork City's hands if they approach the game in that way. Like Stewie said about being direct in their face, it's kind of something similar to what we've seen with Galway, because Galway gave a really good account of themselves in that game.
They have to start, Alan. I mean, if Pats go 1-0 down quite early in this game, they're in trouble, because the crowd are up, you can hear them, the conditions. I think it will suit Cork. I mean, I don't know what Pats are like when they normally go 1-0 down, they tend to kind of maybe struggle, but as Alan rightly says, it's they're up against it.
We also got to remember that Cork City do have a little bit of momentum going in the last few weeks. The results have improved. They've players back from injury. How important tonight do you think is the experience of the likes of Seanie Maguire and Greg Bulger?
Always huge, especially in these games. And it's sometimes in the games with those players, just kind of calm things down, do something that kind of either spurs you on or calms you down, a little pass here or whatever the case may be. But I do think I think Cork have everything to gain from this evening. The Pats have got a lot to lose.
And that's why we said about approaching the game in the manner where it can be a one-off game. I thought the manager spoke really, really well, to be fair, Peter. Also, St. Pat's don't travel well. Out of the 10 games they've lost, 8 of them were on the road, so they don't travel very well.
Okay, well, there's an absolutely cracking atmosphere here at Turner's Cross. Almost a full house for this Cup semi-final. We're pretty much ready to go now. So let's join our big match commentary team this evening of Des Curran and Kenny Cunningham.
Thank you, Peter. A high-pressure Cup semi-final amid the backdrop of a low-pressure storm warning and expected fan protests. It's all set up for a tension-filled night here at Turner's Cross in the first of the Sports Direct FAI Cup semi-finals. Two sides in different moments. Cork City's return to the top flight likely to come to a swift end. 11 points off Waterford and Galway, but just 12 points left to play for. Nash's rescue mission set to come up short, but solace could yet be found in a cup they last won back-to-back in 16 and 17. St. Pat's, they were on course to arrive at Turner's Cross tonight, domestically unbeaten since June, but then defeated Sligo. Two routes left to European football for them this season, but this one, of course, offers major silverware to boot as they chase what would be a fourth Cup success in 12 years. Well, thankfully, the weather conditions have calmed. It was a bit of a rocky drive down the motorway today, but we've made it. The pitch looks in decent condition, all things considered, and a healthy crowd, all things considered as well. And as expected, the shed end down to our right-hand side will have a big part to play tonight. They have been in fine voice since the gates opened. Well, this is a Cork 11 that could light out in a few different ways, but the bullet points, 3 changes from the side that started the 2-1 loss in Galway. Out go Fiacre Kelleher, Matthew Kiernan and Caden Kamara. Coming in, Charlie Lyons, Greg Bolger, a past Cup winner with both of these clubs, and City's leading scorer this season, Kit Nelson. Seanie Maguire captains the side. 9 years ago, he scored a brace of semi-final goals in a 3-1 win at Richmond Park en route to his extra-time final winner against Dundalk at the Aviva. The man who gets the assignment tonight with the whistle, Rob Harvey, who took charge of the 2020 and 2024 FAI Cup finals. In one of 2 Pats changes from their loss in Sligo, Stephen Kenny welcomes Chris Forrester back after a bout of flu. He scored in all 3 rounds of the Cup so far, but Sean Hoare, Anto Breslin, Ramal Palmer, Zach El Bouzetti and Aidan Keena all remain sidelined, while Axel Schoberg is suspended, so Ryan McLaughlin comes in for him at right back as Jason McClellan continues on the other side. Mason Melia up top, leading 14 goals in all competitions this season. Well, for Stephen Kenny, he's been there and done that. 3 FAI Cup wins, losing 2 finals as well. His 1,000th game as a club manager tonight. And for Nash, brought in mid-May, a Cork City side staring relegation in the face, but that's got to be put to one side now. A huge night ahead for them.
Oh, it really is, Des. But what a great opportunity as well for these Cork City players. It's been a difficult season. Wins have been difficult to come by, but I have to believe there has to be that belief within the squad tonight. I'm sure Nash, David Moyle have played their part in midweek, encouraging these players, making them believe that almost the impossible is possible this evening. I do think they have a fighter's chance. You look at that kind of front 3, Seanie Maguire, Alex Nolan, Kit Nelson. The boys already have highlighted the goal scoring ability of Evan McLaughlin. There's goals in this Cork City team. They have to stay in the coattails of this St. Pat's team for as long as possible this evening. Get the home crowd involved in the game. That won't be too hard. They really play their part. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, we took a gamble with that Cork City lineup. I think we've been proved right, as it looks like a back 3 with wing backs. So just about set to go at St. Pat's in their green change colours to get us underway. Cian Levy, the man standing over the ball in the centre circle, and the noise is quite something. The winners tonight, and it might take extra time and penalties, will face either Shamrock Rovers or Kerry, of course, who meet on Sunday. Here is that protest we were expecting to happen maybe a few minutes earlier. Toilet roll being hurled onto the pitch as the fans launched their protest at Dermot Usher, the owner. Not ideal for the players. Seanie Maguire has been talking about it this week, Fiacre Kelleher as well, that ideally the fans can voice their opinion, but maybe now not the best time to do it.
Oh, I think they're entitled, I've got to be honest with you. I think it's right, they shouldn't be muzzled. Their opinion matters. They are the kind of football club. I think this protest is coming from the right place. They want the best for Cork City Football Club. This is probably the right time to start of the game. I'm sure those the toilet rolls will get taken off the pitch as soon as possible, and we'll get underway. But I think in principle, I think they feel that strongly, the Cork City supporters, in terms of this present situation of the football club, how disappointed they are, how frustrated they are. I think it's understandable that they have to let that out. That has to come out. So I wouldn't be overly critical of them. And one thing's for sure, when this game does get underway, those Cork City supporters will be 100% behind their team.
Not sure if there's enough black refuse bags down there to get the job done.
My ma'd be loving it if she was here. I couldn't keep her off the pitch there with her Aldi bag stuffing it with that toilet roll. Not cheap, Des. Not cheap, that kitchen roll. Is it toilet roll or kitchen roll? I can't quite see from here.
Well, with that protest being known in advance, at least the players would have been anticipating it and preparing for it. Both sides with a few footballs out on the pitch now, just keeping the legs warm on what is actually quite a warm evening. St. Pat's have been here twice already this season. Back in April they won by 2-0. And in June it was a scoreless draw, but incredibly you have to go back 18 games and over 7 years since Cork City last tasted victory against the men from Inchicore, May of 2018, when Kieran Sadlier scored a brace and Jimmy O'Keohan grabbed the other. John Caulfield's men winning 3-1 at Richmond Park. It's could safely say they're due one. I couldn't hardly believe it myself when I went back through it, that it has been that long. I know there's been different divisions in play at time as well, but that's a long run.
It is, but you have to turn that around, Des, and turn it into a positive. I'm sure that's what Jerry Nash should be doing midweek. You know, who wants to be part of the Cork City team that kind of ends that miserable run? And what a place to do it, an FAI Cup semi-final, which would take him to a cup final at the Aviva. That's a huge carrot dangling in front. It is Cork City players. I'd never say there's no pressure on the underdogs. There's always pressure, of course. You don't want to be humiliated. You don't want to be embarrassed. You know what's at stake against a very accomplished and talented St. Patrick's athletic team. But it's a real opportunity for these Cork City players. I really believe that, and I hope they rise to the occasion.
And there's recent history and significant recent cup history between these clubs. Pats knocked out Cork here at Turner's Cross en route to their 2021 and 2023 cup successes. Cork won that semi-final in 2016 at Richmond Park when Shawnee Maguire, captaining the side tonight, scored 2 of their goals and Alan Bennett the other. Clean-up almost finished. Final few huddles between the players, a few instructions being issued out. Looking down, Mason Mealy in conversation with his captain Joe Redmond. 2 big players for them tonight, either end of the pitch.
Yeah, amazing really. Joe Redmond's still only 25 years of age, Des. You know, he carries himself like an old veteran. He's a wonderful football player. For me, probably the most accomplished centre-half of the league for the past couple of seasons. And young Mason Mealy, of course, let's enjoy him while he's still here, Des. He's not going to be here for too much longer. A wonderful talent. We wish him well, of course, going across to Tottenham Hotspur, but let's just enjoy him at the moment while he's here. A player in form, scoring goals, and a real asset to this St. Pat's team.
And 3 of his 14 goals this season scored against tonight's opposition. Mason Mealy, most recently that brace in the 4-0 win in Inchicore 11 days ago. But you'd have to say Turner's Cross is the biggest factor for Cork City tonight. If it is to be relegation, and that looks almost nailed on now, that goes down to their away league record. 16 games on the road without a victory. But they've been strong here. Unbeaten in their last 4. They showed their resolve when falling behind to Shamrock Rovers. Darragh Crowley rescued a draw with his 2nd goal in stoppage time against Rovers this season. But now, after a bit of a delay, final checks from Rob Harvey. Ball in readiness, just checking with the Cork City goalkeeper Conor Brand that he's happy. The situation around his goal mouth, and straight away Tom Gravosti goes long towards Simon Power on this right hand side. Charlie Lyons back in the starting 11. Maguire cushions it down, but from an offside position. His first season and a half before he headed back to England. 55 goals in 73 appearances, Shawnee Maguire. He was unplayable. We got to speak to him during the week. It's been a different kind of pressure on him 2nd time around. Cork City at the wrong end of the table. Hamstring injury picked up early in the campaign, and of course Rory Keating's awful early season injury. Cathal O'Sullivan as well, long term, hasn't helped. Here is Maguire, good strength to hold on to it from Redmond, skipping away from Levy and from Lennon, and now spraying it out to that far side where Darragh Crowley has got the legs going. Nolan in the penalty area. Oh, Grabowski hasn't dealt with that one. And Redmond forced to knock it clear. Great start from Maguire.
I was saying he was dropping deep to receive the ball, got his head up. Wonderful switch of play to Crowley, operating in that right wing back position. One touch, done the right thing, put into that near post. Good to see Cork come in a few players into the box. A little bit of nervous defending from Gravosti, but Redmond sweeping up.
And Bulger setting up a crossing chance here. Pats on the back foot early on. Jason McClellan's, who's been filling in at left back since the middle of June, wins the throw-in far side. Jerry Nash already like a cat in a hot tin roof. Here's a chance. Kit Nelson shifts it onto his right, charged down by Gravosti. McClellan plays it away. Anderson in aggressively against Melia, the two 18-year-olds. Here's the pacey power, held up by Fitzpatrick. Forrester and Lennon looking to restore some calm here for Pats, as Cork City have started strong.
Yeah, and look at the press high up the pitch as well, which is good to see. Ed McLaughlin there getting a contact, making a tackle. Ball breaking to Kit Nelson, looking to get his shot off quickly. It's good block from Gravosti, but good to see Cork getting on the front foot, not being too passive out of possession of the football.
Ryan McLaughlin in tonight with Schoberg suspended. Redmond pings it across to that far side. Pats with numbers out there. Levy getting involved, finding McLaughlin, and keeping the width on this near side is Power, faced up by Fitzpatrick, and backing his pace here. Cork doubling up with Nelson, Forrester. Now back with McLaughlin. Redmond, who was in with the supporters back in 21, lifting the trophy in 23. Here's Power on his left, cross towards the back. Melia over his head, and McClellan won't get there.
Yeah, Joshua Fitzpatrick just got to be careful here. 1v1 against Simon Power. Tried to nick the ball in front. Not done in behind. If you Simon Power the yard of pace, you're not going to get it back. Checks back onto his left foot. Just trying to float into that kind of back post area, just over the head. Young Melia. A little warning there for the Cork left back, just to be a little bit more patient as defending against Power.
It's Pat's first away game in this FAI Cup run, and they started with Cork opposition, 8-0 against UCC of the Munster Senior League. Then it was Shelburne and Galway. Here comes McLaughlin, stepping in and looking to feed it to Fitzpatrick, squares it across, and it might come at the back. Big save, and Nang had to be alert. A swift break, the positivity of Evan McLaughlin running at the heart of this Pats defence.
Oh, he does exactly the right thing. Just slides in Fitzpatrick. Probably felt he couldn't score from that angle. It was a bad ball cut back to the back post. Alex Nolan, decent contact. Really good break from Cork City, giving a lot of encouragement.
Here comes the in-swinger. Carries a long way. Melia with the defensive header. Here is Nolan, former Pats man with a medal from 2 years ago. Off the bench in that final. And McClellan, quality in that left foot, and Melia stretching the legs here. Crowley going with him. Melia, strength and pace. Needs support now, finds it in Forrester. Space constricting. Now Levy down the right-hand side. Taking on Fitzpatrick. He slides in, times it well, corner.
Half of the Cork City supporters behind the stand were holding their breath there. Joshua Fitzpatrick went to ground, had to get that right, and he did. It was impeccable timing on the tackle. Nice ebb and flow to the game at the moment, good tempo.
Real pace to the opening 5 minutes. Corner on the way from Simon Power. Centre half set up along the 6-yard line. Bodies go to ground, and it's Lyons who's fouled in the eyes of Rob Harvey.
I think Jerry Nash will be very happy with the start this side has made. No inferiority complex so far. Pretty good tempo to the game. Defensive structures look good from Cork, generally is. Look as if they've got a real a threat to the attack. It's the chance again. It's Nolan on that right foot. Gonna have to be more active to beat Ang. He's been fantastic this season, so consistent. It's the same Pat's goal, so athletic as well.
Curiously, still chasing his first Turner's Cross goal, Alex Nolan. All these goals for Cork City scored on the road. And Brand just warned there of the pace of Mealy as well as he closed quickly.
You're absolutely right. A few minutes previously, prior to the corner kick, we saw the pace in behind Mason Mealy. Not just pace though, there's close ball control as well. Lovely dribbler.
Power's taking a knock here. And the referee is going to stop the play, much to the annoyance of the Cork City supporters.
Yeah. I hope this is going to change. There's at some stage in the future, the near future as well, in terms of players picking up small knocks going down, and for some reason referees feeling obligated to stop the game. Has to change. Too many stoppages in the game now. It's not allowed to flow. It's been a really good tempo we've just spoken about. Now we're going to have a 30-second, 1 minute at least kind of stoppage. Doesn't help the flow of the game. No serious injury there to the St. Pat's player. Just got to get on with it. Maybe even small suggestion, there's allow the trainer onto the pitch while the game's going ahead. I think we have to find a solution too. It's only going to get worse. It's not helping the flowing nature of the game.
Simon Power, who's not had much luck in terms of injuries since he's returned from England, particularly that spell at Shamrock Rovers. And he's had a decent run in the side second half of this season as Lyons plays it forward, then looks to put the squeeze on Forrester. Lovely touch from Lennon, and Levy with space to exploit here. McClelland. Now Garrick, the mid-season arrival, starting his third game in a row, keeping Jake Mulroney on the bench. Redmonds. Now Lennon looking to show his passing range. Power back into the action, but offside.
Yeah, he'll hit that ball quite a bit. Jamie Lennon, very accurate. That central area, that switch of play. Joe Redmond as well. We've seen that one already from him. The best passes, long-range passes, out of the fence. Probably him and Paddy Barrett very similar in that respect. It's a good tactic from Pat to get that quick switch of play. The passing of those two players in particular.
Conor Brand, one of 3 goalkeepers Cork City have used this season. Tian Troost played the first 20 games before heading back on his way, and David Odamosu. 1 game for him against Waterford, but Brand has the jersey. He's turned in some good performances as well. Here is Anderson. Goes long, and Maguire in that prowling style of his. Oh, beautiful touch. Shawnee Maguire opens the scoring. And that is vintage Shawnee Maguire. Well, moves with that threatening poise. And once he got there ahead of Anang, had the composure to check back inside the recovering challenge and roll it into an empty net. Cork City lead inside 10 minutes.
Oh, talk about a goal which befits the occasion, Des. Forget about top class, this is world class, this finish from Shawnee Maguire. Beautiful ball in behind, look, just checks where the goalkeeper is, thinks it over him. I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 most forwards would take on the shot just here. And probably the defender gets the block. He has the composure and the awareness to slide it inside Joe Redmond, keep it close to his body before Gravossi can get across, slide it into the empty net. Absolutely top class centre forward play.
An outrageously good goal with what almost seemed like an economy of effort from Shawnee Maguire. But what a lift for the home side, and a lift that they found early. Pat's looking to respond. Power. Lennon lets it run across his body into space. Now McClelland out to Garrick, faced up by Crowley, working with Levy. McLaughlin gets the challenge in, played forward towards Maguire again. You could see Gravossi was hurried and rushed.
Yeah, let's give Freddie Anderson a bit of credit as well. The delivery of that ball. So used to possession-based football nowadays, playing through the third, slow, patient build-up. Not on that occasion. Saw the advantage there to getting the ball back to front with accuracy, with quality. That's what Freddie Anderson provided. Shawnee Maguire still had a huge amount to do. Did he do it in style? What a goal.
Score one of the biggest goals in Cork City's history, the 120th minute of extra time against Dundalk in 2016 in that cup final. 5.5 years of John Caulfield against Stephen Kenny. How we enjoyed that period of Irish football. As those two clubs and those two managers battle for supremacy. Here is Anderson, on loan from Stoke City. He's played a lot of football at the tender age of 18. A very experienced dad to call on, though, Viv Anderson, former England international. And if ever a son is cutting the mould physically as his dad, I think it is Freddie Anderson. McClelland and Garrick trying to defend over on that far side. Crowley has found a gap. Lennon slides in. And it's turning into a blood and thunder night here.
Oh, but I love the fact Greg Bulger took a quick free kick there. Wouldn't have looked free kick in the middle of the pitch. You would think slow it down. He didn't. Quicken the pace, hit it straight out to Alex Nolan, looking to get on the attack, looking to get into the St. Pat's last third of the pitch as quickly as possible. Great attitude.
Garrick backing himself in a very dangerous area. And he's not got the free kick either. Evan McLaughlin trying to shift it into space. McLaughlin. Well, they're running pats at the referee, and also a word with Garrick for trying something maybe ill-advised here.
Exactly, dribbling the ball out from your own box, asking for trouble. Nelson took it off and popped into the front of McLaughlin, got on that left foot. You fear the worst from a Pat's point of view. Just kind of slashed across a bit. You can see his frustration. He knows that was a good opportunity. He's going to be so careful. He's had a warning now, Garrick, taking too many touches on the edge of his box. You're not going to get that luxury this occasion.
Long towards Melia, skims off the head of Anderson and out for a Pat's throw-in. Each side had reached these semi-final stages, conceding just a single goal. Cork City, if they can protect that record, they are a viva bound, but a long way to go here. Garrick. His effort charged down. McLaughlin. Pushed back by Nelson. Maguire cutting off the route back to the goalkeeper and out for a Cork City throw-in.
Great work rate, Cork City. Both aspects of the game have been spot on, in possession and out of possession, carrying a real threat. When they work the ball up the pitch, when they haven't got it, not being too passive, not stepping off the play, going engaging, forcing shells back, forcing them into mistakes. Exactly what Ger Nash would have wanted the opening 13-14 minutes of this game.
Gravosti, Nolan had tucked in, now gets back out again to challenge McClelland. They know each other well, those two. Forrester sees the run of power, headed away by Lyons. Lennon doesn't score many, Jamie Lennon, but he got one against Cork City. Shakur earlier this season in stoppage time to win it, and here he is on it again. He eases it right hand side. Ryan McLaughlin keeps it moving on to power, driving against Fitzpatrick again and winning another corner.
Oh, that'll really help this lad's confidence. A couple of 1v1s now with power. He's done well, hasn't kind of dived in that occasion. Look, moving his feet, anticipating the run, and just getting that right arm across. A bit of upper body strength there, eventually getting the block. Right defended.
Well, Lennon fouled Lyons on the last delivery. Pat's looking to stay clean this time. It's a Pats man who went down, but a Cork man went with him. They both look to the referee. The decision goes the way of Rory Feely.
Yeah, he's a bit frustrated. He's asking why. A lot of contact there, as we know in the modern game. Corner kicks, players getting hold of each other, exaggerating contact, etc. Not easy for referees in those situations.
Both managers discussing the finer point of it. I think you'd make a good fourth official, actually.
And for the diplomat, Des, as you know.
McClelland attacking it in the air. Well, Greg Bulger, he's had a bit of an injury-hit season. But to have him fit and available tonight, given all the experience he brings, all the success he brings, in 3 years at Pats, 4 seasons rather, 145 games, missed the 2012 final injured. Big part of the 2013 title-winning team. Man of the match in the 2014 final, a League Cup winner as well. But he's here for what he brings on the pitch and what he brings off the pitch as well.
Yeah, you're right, Des. I remember playing in that very talented Pat Stein, but he was an integral part of it. You're absolutely right. And yes, you're absolutely right in terms of your assessment. Coming into this kind of Cork City team, kind of other players gain confidence off that. Now he's been there and done it. Bit of calmness, leadership qualities as well. It's going to be important. It's been important already in the opening 16 minutes of this game. I think he dovetails nicely with McLaughlin, that central midfield area. You see McLaughlin wants to get into forward areas of the pitch and influence the game. He's happy to sit behind the ball, Des, isn't he? Just kind of offer that counterbalance.
And he nicks it away there, Greg Bolger. Of course, once he left Pats, he arrived in Cork, and huge part of the successful years of 16 and 17. Here's one of the local boys, Josh Fitzpatrick, on to Kit Nelson. Fitzpatrick again. He's had a big second half of the season in particular. Under Ger Nash, Josh Fitzpatrick. Lots of praise for the manager. Forward by Lyons. Away by Redmond. Taken in by Levy.
I think they're mixing up their game quite nicely, Cork City. Getting the ball working, 1-2 touch passes. They're not afraid to put it behind. You saw that in the lead up to the goal, but even there, Lyons just think going around the corner in behind. And they're testing the St. Pat centre halves. Joe Redmond can't be too predictable in terms of your approach play. Got to keep the opposition defenders guessing. Going into feet, working it sideways, looking for a quick ball over the top, maybe in behind.
Cork have been aggressive in their approach. You can see just a little moment earlier after Forrester had played the ball, McLaughlin a little nudge into his back, which didn't go unnoticed. Gravosti and Bolger there to take it on his chest and nudge it to Crowley. Talk about those dependable ones, the ones the manager relies on. Dara Crowley could pretty much play him anywhere. He's played in all bar one game this season, and that was that game in Inchicore when Liam Carney was the caretaker manager. Ger Nash was in the stands. Dramatic 5-goal affair. But wherever he's needed, he'll do a job, Dara Crowley, and do it well. Nilsson to take it on the turn. McLaughlin's challenge, okay. And Lennon pushing on. Here's Melia. Looking for power, Fitzpatrick has to concede another corner.
He's doing everything right, this kid, at the moment. I'm really enjoying his performance. Got himself a little bit ahead of the play there. That's because his team was in possession. He was kind of creeping forward, thinking I might get involved, turn over the ball quickly, and then he's in a foot race to get back. Done really well.
That wing-back role is unforgiving. Simon Power again bodies down in the penalty area. Clever little corner. Shawnee Maguire alive to it though, and Evan McLaughlin to bring it away. Has to hold on to let support get up with him. Very tidy on the ball, Evan McLaughlin, former Derry City youngster. And Fitzpatrick happy to go back home to Conor Brown. Long towards Nolan. Well, you wonder with semi-finals, don't you, what way they might go. It's not been tentative, certainly not that kind of approach from the home team. Here goes Melia, never-present threats, calmly defended by Feely. Scored in that cup final for Bows in the loss to Pats. Flashing near post header. And the game best remembered for the Chris Forrester wonder goal. Power. Seeing plenty of it here. Nelson there to help out Fitzpatrick. Levy. Redmond. Now Forrester. A little bit of space to operate in. Ball through away by Anderson.
A really important interception, Brody Freely, a couple of minutes ago there. Nice Amelia driving into the box, had to get it right to tackle. Feely did.
Lennon did well there. And The effort flashed over by Levy, really caught that one. Collision between Lyons and Lennon, edge of the penalty area. It ran for Levy though, fancy these chances.
Yeah, Alan Colley spoke about this lad prior to the game. He's not getting enough goals. Only one thing in his mind there to pull the trigger. He wasn't looking to pass that. Actually made good connection just over the crossbar.
A chance to speak with Cian Levy during the week. He was on press duty.
I thought you were going to say you met him on the bus.
He listed a catalogue of awful injuries that he had when he went to England. He went to Reading back in 2018, and a couple of back fractures that kept him out for more or less a year. He had an ACL injury. He's had a lot to work his way back from, but you listen to Stephen Kenny sing his praises. We've seen what he's done since he's come back into this league. A huge talent.
Yeah, that's tough. At such a young age, sustaining that type of injuries there, as it can be mentally challenging actually in terms of trying to get back from. That's not easy. Fair play to him, getting himself back to this level. Physically looks in great nick there, does he, in terms of how he travels with the ball as well. Looks as if he's put those injuries behind him, which is good to see.
He's played the full 90 in 5 of the last 6 games, Cian Levy. And he has been agreeing with Alan Cawley as well that he needs to add a few more goals. That's next on the list. Here he is taking it on the half turn, using that pace and that balance. Well-timed challenge by Feely, but here comes another cross. Anderson heads away. Lennon couldn't get his shot away. And McClellan fancied it, and that took a little nick off Nolan. Out for another Pat's corner.
Yeah, just getting pinned back a little bit now. Cork last 5 minutes, there's the edge of their penalty box. Has kind of taken control, getting the ball into some dangerous areas. Another important challenge there from Rory Feely a minute or so before. And again, Pat's getting another shot off in the edge of the box.
No luck with corners from the near side. Well, they have a change of fortune far side. Outswinger Redmonds. Not an easy chance. Had to try and direct it and guide it.
No, it wasn't. One thing coming onto the ball and heading as good as anybody. Attacking crosses into the box. Joe Redmond, that was tough though. Cork City have the 3 big centre half stationed across the 6-yard box. I think that's why you're seeing same pass trying to hit other areas, keeping the ball away from them, trying to isolate Joe Redmond against one of the smaller Cork City players who's delegated to maybe physically impose and try and bump him. It's not an easy job. Somebody of the physical strength of Joe Redmond. Because up till now, Cork City have defended their penalty box well in general play and from set pieces.
Interesting to see Rob Harvey go straight to Conor Brann. We're only midway through the first half, or just beyond it. He says, get the game moving, don't be dallying. Maguire, lovely bit of work again. Nolan had to check to stay on side, which he's managed to do here. Can he provide? Oh, it's a good ball in as well, and Nelson couldn't get there in time to cause a problem for Anang at that near post.
That's a great run from Nelson. Don't see that too often. Outside left man. He recognised Shawnee Maguire was too far outside the penalty box. He knew somebody had to make that near post run. He did. He nearly got his reward. He got a toe poke on that. Could have deflected it past Anang into the goal. Great play again from Cork, and Alex Nolan again down the right hand side.
Crowley well positioned, nicked back by Melia. Redmonds, who did have that lone spell with Cork City back in 2020, a handful of appearances, and was settling in nicely before the pandemic brought an end to it all. Advancing here and picking out power. Forrester onto Lennon. Levy. Cork City sitting in, throwing the challenge down to Pats. Can you break us down? Can you pick a way through? McClellan's on to Levy. McClellan again. Forrester. Held up by McLaughlin. Lennon. McLaughlin well forward. Power again. This time comes back on the inside. McLaughlin feeds it in. It's come around the back to McClellan's. And maybe just that slick turf saw it skip up awkwardly for him.
Yeah, it's decent approach play from Pat, really working that Cork City rear guard, moving the ball across the pitch. Concentration levels have to be so good from a Cork City point of view. can't dive in, otherwise you're going to get played around. Distances have to be good between players. Nelson working really hard there, getting to a central area, narrowing up, and then sprinting back out to the left wing to confront McLaughlin. Everybody putting in a shift in the Cork City jersey. It's not going to be easy for the entire 90 minutes. It's going to be a bit of a drop-off physically at some point, but up until now, they're doing great.
Good climb by Gravosti. Another play by Dara Crowley. Hard to credit when you see this effort and industry and endeavour and quality on the ball when they've had it as well. The Cork City in 35 games this season have only won 7. 3 of them against Waterford, Leicester Celtic at the Leinster Senior League, Galway, Finn Harps and Bohemians. They know the significance of a victory tonight. Having to defend again here. Levy clips in the cross. Lions won the header. And Brandon able to prevent another corner.
Yeah, you really fancy when those balls come into the box. That kind of back three, Anderson, Feely and Lyons. It's going to take some jump, get beyond them. Amelia were trying to make the back post there. Decent defender from Lyons. Could have put that in first time. Keane Levy took a touch. Puts into a really good area. See those 3 joints there. Cork City shorts. You'd expect them to dominate in those situations. They have been.
Power has stepped away from this one. It's going to be an in-swinger from McClelland's. A little bit of sorting out. Nolan, Lennon and Lyons. So here we go, McClelland's. Not a bad delivery. Anderson, tall and rangy, gets his head to it again. No let up. 27, 28 minutes on the clock now. It's been full-blooded and high tempo. Maguire trying to maybe engineer a free kick, outnumbered, but Cork City come away with it. And McLaughlin nudges it forward towards Nelson, just behind him in the end though.
They look dangerous, Cork, because every time they kind of break out, McLaughlin gets on the ball. Nelson's making runs in behind. Alex Nolan, Shawnee Maguire, obviously nice balance up there. Shawnee Maguire dropping in deep, linking things up, pacing Nolan in behind. Trickery McLaughlin, some good combinations there.
Now space for Ryan McLaughlin to attack here. Sets it in front of Power. Lennon. Look at Nelson and Nolan, the two nominally playing up in support of Shawnee Maguire, doing a lot of defensive work. Anderson, and the latest Pat's corner, soon to be on the way.
Yeah, Pats have to do a bit better than that. McClelland, more of a hopeful ball into the box. Easy for the Cork City defenders. A bit disappointed there. They put the ball out for a corner kick under no real pressure. Always look at Joe Redmond in these situations. Where's Redmond? He's the big danger. He's the one they have to nullify.
Didn't defend these situations too well up in Inchicore 11 days ago. No damage for Cork City just yet though. And Anderson is like a magnet at the moment to anything going in there. Lovely check by Levy. Puts it onto his left. Gravosti clips it around the back. Oh, just couldn't make the contact he needed, Mason Melia.
It wasn't an easy one, but you're still a bit surprised, such is his quality, that he didn't make better contact. It's a clever little ball from Gravosti to that back post area. He's coming a long way. I know he's not in a stronger right foot, but even still, I expected a controlled finish. The inside of his left foot there towards goal. Good ball from him. He's had a difficult time defensively so far up against Maguire and Alex Nolan down that side of the pitch. It's a really clever delivery into the box though.
Levy takes it out to McLaughlin. We'll drop it over the head of Fitzpatrick here for Power. The Lions did well just to give himself a second to see if Power would take it in or not. Man from Shannon. Charlie Lyons shared a few sporting pitches in his younger days with Jack Crowley. Big 15 minutes or so into half-time now.
Yeah, I think so. Put so much into this opening 30 minutes. Cork, it's not about game management now. It's not about protecting them or what you have. Just got to be smart. I think they've got the balance really right so far in terms of dropping into that sound defensive structure, but also looking to break out there and commit players into forward areas of the pitch and offering an attacking threat. I think they've done that as well. Yes, Pats have had more control in the last kind of 10-15 minutes, but no real clear-cut opportunities.
Levy's ran that one out of play.
Yeah, that's been a feature in Cork City play. Those wingers, Nolan, Nelson on the other side, getting back there, is doubling up with the defenders.
Those 4 league meetings this season ended with St. Pat's taking 10 of a possible 12 points available to them. So they've had the better of it, but not so far tonight. Lots of possession, lots of corners. So far the biggest moment, a moment of magic from Seanie Maguire. Gravosti. Big switch. Fitzpatrick just lost it for a second. Managed to recover. Maguire trying to get across Redmonds and Nelson. But he knew if he could just get his foot across, the challenge and the foul was coming from McLaughlin.
Oh, yeah, 3 passes is a really good play there from Cork, defending initially from Fitzpatrick, taking the ball off Power. Then there was Seanie Maguire going up against Joe Redmond. Des, he knew he couldn't win it, but he made a nuisance himself. Didn't make it an easy header for Joe Redmond. Headed it down. And then Nelson, of course, anticipating the knockdown, just getting in front of his man, winning the free kick.
Just watching him there off the ball, just giving a little signal to Charlie Lyons to drop it into that channel.
I've really enjoyed Maguire's performance so far. Reminds me a lot of Padraig Allman at Waterford City, just in terms of huge experience in that area of the pitch, understanding the position, not wasting their energy, making every second count, ball retention, decision making. There's been fantastic from Maguire. Some real kind of schooling people around him, as Alvin does at Waterford every time I see him play.
Derek Crowley knows what to do here, just try and take a little bit of the sting out of Pats. And then goes as long as he possibly can with the throw-in. Lennon to Garrick, McClellan to Lennon, and on to Forrester. See the intention. Rory Feely was brave not to drop off, to stand his ground and read that pass.
Yeah, you're right, Des. Reading it again, he's done that 3 times in around his own penalty box so far. Impeccable timing. Media a bit busy trying to drive into that space off the shoulder in between defenders, but so far back 3 have stood firm. Feely in particular has anticipated those passes, stepped across and dealt with it.
Takes a bit of nerve, doesn't it, when you know he's running and he's got that pace and the step on you.
Yeah, it's true, but you drop off too early, Des, you kind of, you know, then Media drops off and gets it to his feet, gets turning, gets running at you. It's a balancing act of time, being a defender in that situation, keeping that high line. When do you drop off? By and large, they've got it right, that back 3.
Power. Driving again. And McLaughlin, all hands to the pump. The attacking midfielder gets across to help out his left back.
Oh, that's phenomenal. There's actually no business being there. Gets around that speed, Power on that occasion. McLaughlin sensed the danger, drove across from central midfield position, covered his left wing back, brilliant.
Oh, cleverly done by Levy. Look for that little slide rule ball into Melia.
Just that raw speed there, Simon Power. McLaughlin's got to factor that in. Have to take another backward step. Get himself 4 or 5 yards instead of 2 or 3. He's done really well so far though. He's a really speedy Pat's winger.
Well, Pat, since the concession of that goal, they've been probing all areas. Cork City compact and organised. Late challenge here. Amelia will bring the free kick.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to follow him in there, Amelia. Can't allow him to turn and run at you. We know his dribbling ability we've spoken about before. Quickly travels with the ball. If he gets you got on the back foot, you're in trouble. Got to go and engage him early. Even if you can see the free kick here and there, they'll fancy their chances. Cork defended these situations pretty well up until now. Let's see if it's the kiss of death.
Feely organising Cork City defensively here. McClelland comes across to McLaughlin, changing the angle of the ball in. Gravosti is in the thick of it. And McLaughlin there again. Before the ball landed with Levy. McClelland, clever little ball, slipped down the side. Levy with the early delivery. Power arriving at the back post. Forrester. McLaughlin, time to measure this one. Good ball in as well. The flick on from Melia. He's going to go harmlessly behind.
Cork will be happy with this, where these crosses are coming in from. Initially was a cross here from Kane Levy. That's too flow. That's not good enough. That's come into the box with a lot more pace, a lot flatter trajectory. It's a little bit better in that respect. Look how far out he is. 35, 40 yards out there. Cork will be happy with that. A lot of possession of the football, Pat, particularly after the opening 10-15 minutes. A lot of possession in the Cork City half of the pitch, but very little end result. Don't remember Brandes you making a save as yet. A couple of crosses from distance, flying over his crossbar. That's been it.
Gravosti knew that one was going to run. Collision between Lennon and McLaughlin off the referee. And a brief moment of pause. Jason McClelland. Gravosti. Big switch, accurate switch as well for power. Hard work for Nelson. He's got to do that defensive bit. Gravosti. Cork tucking in again and trying to get out. When that ball goes wide, Lennon. Forrester, and here we go on the other side. Fitzpatrick out to meet McLaughlin. One side denying Pats those spaces they like to work in. Here's Levy. Feely came all the way out with him. Levy again. Tom Gravosti. McClelland's. No pressure on the cross. Off the head of Anderson. Nelson. So break for Forrester. Nelson charges it down. And McLaughlin completes the clearance.
Really kind of predictable stuff from Pass at the moment. A lot of sideways pass and getting the ball into wide areas. Not a big fan of the fact both their wingers, Garrick Simon Perry now the last 5-10 minutes coming on the inside 15 yards from the touchline, getting their full-backs high and wide, but there McLaughlin's not going to beat Fitzpatrick in a 1v1 situation. Likewise McClelland down the left. So a lot of passing of the football, a lot of pass completions, but really going nowhere. And when the final delivery eventually comes into the box, it's not really coming in with a lot of quality. Good abs.
So Brian Gartland there alongside Stephen Kenny, one of his
that Brian Gartland with his top off? Surely not. Oh, that one, that Brian Gartland.
Well, there he is, one of his long-time trusted generals and all those successful years at Dundalk. And you had a kind of glimpse of David Myler alongside Ger Nash. Arriving in as the assistant there, David Myler.
Detected maybe a little bit of attention, bit of concern there from the faces of Stephen Kenny and Gartland there, and understandably so. It's funny really, I mean, Cork City haven't had a huge amount of possession the past last tour of their pitch test, but when they get up there, they really do carry a threat. At the moment, you'd almost argue, excuse me, more likely getting the second goal than Pats are getting the equalising goal at the moment.
Good timing again from Lions. One of the things Cian Levy did speak of during the week in terms of the 4-0 game and how it was very different to the 3 previous games, which were a lot tighter. He said Pats got the early goal, the Joe Redmond goal, and added to it quite quickly, and that put them in a good position. It's Cork City who've got the early goal tonight, closing in on half-time now.
You're absolutely right there. It's going to have to do with the hard way tonight. It's a different animal tonight, this Cork City team. I think they did disappoint themselves in that game in Richmond. That's been the exception to the rule. Generally speaking, I've been impressed how they played under Ger Nash. They look like a team that's still together, still fighting.
That is a scything challenge and not a very well timed one.
There's a small possibility.
Anderson.
A small possibility the card might come out here, Des. I might be wrong, but whoosh. I'd have to say, Des, the yellow card was actually borderline red. I've got to be honest with you. He actually catches McLennan actually high up halfway up the shin there. He's going to get away with it. Just spoke
yellow card and a Stern talking to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Spoke about the Cork City defenders, how disciplined they've been, feeling particularly staying on his feet, intercepting things, not overly committing. Fitzpatrick in the left back position, staying on his feet, being patient. It's exactly the opposite, wasn't it? Anderson's had such a good half, just a rush of blood to the head there. He's going nowhere. McClellan was our I think it was McClellan going to the touchline there, going to the flag, no real danger. He's a young player, 18. He learned from that.
Look at where it came from. Levy picked the ball up on the sideline underneath us and ends up winning the free kick over on that far side. Just perpetual motion. Now this feels significant. This close to half-time. Goal for Pats with puncture. What's been a buoyant Cork City mood in the stands. Deep delivery around the back and Brand could wave it wide.
Yeah, that's 4. I don't think that was an attempt to shoot on target. It looked like it in terms of the direction of the ball. He's looking to just put that into the back post area. His teammates will be disappointed. He wanted something to attack there.
And a few problems for Stephen Kenny, Brian Garton and Sean O'Connor to solve at half-time. Attacks that in determined fashion. Maguire working back to challenge Lennon on halfway. Crowley dispossessed. Lennon for Pats and back to McClelland. Switch of play from Forrester. McClellan going early. Oh, what a tempter that was. And Melia for a moment was goal side and very, very close to making contact there.
He just started in behind Rory Feely. He's defended so well. It's going to be a perfect pass that though. McClellan's not easy coming off a slippery surface. He'll be disappointed, a little bit disappointed, Mason Melia, I think, in terms of the quality service which he's had. It's a tough half for Pats, it really has. Cork have made it tough, they've made it difficult due to the fact how well they've played in and out possession.
Hooked on by Crowley, good hold-up play by Maguire. That's with the numbers, so McLaughlin asking Melia to give chase. Hunting down Feely, he sees it out for a throw-in. One to be added on at the end of a high-octane and fiercely contested first half. And here goes Kit Nelson, and Evan McLaughlin is running through the middle. Shawnee Maguire making his move now. Maguire and McLaughlin did so well for his team there. Matched him stride for stride and just got ahead in front at the vital moment.
That's what I'm talking about. Get the ball down his forward areas. Look dangerous. Would have liked to see Nelson just go at his man in a 1v1 situation when he actually got the ball there. Took an extra 2 touches, get Pat's an opportunity to get players back.
Bolger. Nolan looking to feed from the right hand side. Here's Garrick. He's been on the periphery of the game. Not much going over in his direction. That will run through to Anang. All eyes on Rob Harvey here. One goalkeeper to another. And a huge ovation on the way from the shed as their players race past them down the tunnel and into the dressing room. A half where one side has lost the ball, but the other side has got the goal, and what a goal it was from Seanie Maguire 10 minutes in. Pats with plenty of possession, but no way to break down this compact Cork City side. And at half-time, as we head to the break, we'll do so at Turner's Cross on an FAI Cup semi-final scoreline of Cork City 1, St Patrick's Athletic 0.
Only the Cup can generate such a wonderful atmosphere, and the fans of both sides have played their part. And Cork City supporters, well, they've had their say. But whatever discontent was felt pre-kickoff was quickly forgotten when Seanie Maguire scored what has to be one of the goals of this FAI Cup so far this season. Wonderful finish by the former Republic of Ireland international, and Cork City are leading St Patrick's Athletic by 1-0 at half-time here at Turner's Cross. And Stuart, I think a fair question for many people to ask would be, how is this Cork City side at the bottom of the Premier Division?
Do you know what, Peter? I was quite taken by when we spoke in the pre-match conversation with Ger Nash. He had a look in his eye when he said, "Don't be fooled by what you're seeing on the outside. There's a continuity about this group." And my God, have they played like they have. They've been absolutely outstanding in the game. The togetherness, the work rate, their ability to break the lines high up the pitch, just the energy that they put in. But it hasn't been just senseless stuff. There's been something about them. Their goal is pure quality. Alan will go through it now, but the sheer level of energy and commitment that they've put in the game, and Pats just haven't started. It's exactly like the quarterfinals, haven't got going at all, and they're now 1-0 behind, and they're 1-0 behind to a Cork City team that have got the bit between their teeth.
Yeah, and if anybody was leading by example, it was Seanie Maguire, one of the most experienced players, one of the most influential players. And Alan, what a goal.
Yeah, big nights, Peter, call for big moments, and you look at this, absolutely magic from Sean Maguire. Initially it was a brilliant pass from Freddie Anderson. We'll see it from behind, though. The run from Sean Maguire, absolutely brilliant angle here. Gets ahead of Joe Redmond. I'm not sure where the keeper is going, but I want to focus on the quality of the forward play, because it's absolutely outstanding, Peter.
Yeah.
This lad has played for his country 11 times. We know the quality that Sean Maguire possesses, but it's all around his general play, Peter, and to have the composure once he steps inside, leaves Joe Redmond on his backside. Gravosti can't make it, but initially it was a brilliant pass from Freddie Anderson, who's had a great game. But Seanie Maguire, his all-round play, he's the captain tonight, he's leading by example, Peter. But what a moment of absolute quality. Brilliant stuff from Seanie.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful goal, and it wasn't the only opportunity they created, because they dominated the early stages of that first half, Stuart.
Yeah, especially that middle three, Kit Nelson, Evan McLaughlin, breaking the real of high quality here. Comes out left-hand side to Fitzpatrick. I thought maybe Fitzpatrick should have actually shot, but he decides to cut it back. Comes to Alex Nolan, good save in the end. And then this is just crazy stuff from Pats. Look at the energy from Cork, swarming around, dispossessing the ball, getting it back. Evan McLaughlin, we know how good he is at the ball at his feet. Gets it out, just maybe snatches at it a little bit, lacking that little bit of quality, but that could have been Pats in real trouble. But the energy levels, just, and I keep going on, Nolan, Evan McLaughlin, Kit Nelson, just breaking with real purpose, and Pats just don't have the answer at the moment.
No, they don't, but they did come into the game a little bit towards the end of that first half, and Cian Levy beginning to have a little bit of an influence. He was involved in a couple of their chances.
Yeah, a little, Peter, but the best they've had is a couple of pot shots from the edge of the box. This was Levy that steps inside, decent enough strike, goes over the bar. Then again, there's a passage of play where eventually it finds its way outside to McClelland, and again it's a pot shot from distance. There's a little deflection on, but that's the best they've offered. Cork City, as Dewey said, the structure that they have.
Three players around the one Pats player.
And the structure that they have in terms of the three at the back has been very, very good. Freddie Anderson has been outstanding. I think he's been lucky enough. That's Melia, needs to work on his left foot. But this is the best they've offered, Peter. Like overhit crosses from a free kick. I'm not sure why Simon Power is taking that free kick. But Stephen Kenny has a lot to ponder. He's scratching his head there, Peter. And rightly so, because everything's been in front of Cork City at the moment. Yeah. And they've managed that really well. Greg Bulger sat in front of the front three, managed everything in there that's been thrown at them. And then you have the energy, as Stewie's pointed, to McLaughlin and the lads on the wing breaking and causing the threat as well. It's been very, very good.
It certainly has. It's a full house here at Turner's Cross this evening, and I can tell you the vast majority of them are in pretty good spirits here at half-time, because their side, Cork City, lead Pats by 1-0 at half-time. Well, it'll be quite an occasion at Tallaght Stadium as Kerry Football Club make their very first appearance in an FAI Cup semi-final, and who better to provide the opposition than Record Cup winners Shamrock Rovers. Coverage begins at 5:30 I should say, on Sunday evening. We'll have the Republic of Ireland under-21 Euro qualifier against Slovakia from 7 o'clock on RTE2 next Friday, while the senior team is back in action on Saturday. Our World Cup qualifying hopes hanging in the balance as we face Portugal in Lisbon, and our build-up begins at 7 o'clock on RTE2. Just before we hand back for the second half, Alan, there was a challenge there by Freddie Anderson towards the end of that first half. What did you think of it?
I thought it was so poor, Peter, I really did. And initially I thought it was a straight red card from where we were standing. Looking back on it, I still think it's borderline red. And he's a very, very lucky boy, Freddie Anderson. You can see Cian Levy here just as he offloads it, goes for the return pass. He's lining him up for a good bit out, Peter, and that's a really, really poor challenge. He played very well in the first half, Freddie Anderson, but he can count himself very, very lucky that he hasn't done serious harm to Cian Levy there.
Wasn't malicious though, was it?
No, just a strong tackle. I mean, look, back in the day, you'd like them, but I do think he's lucky to be on the pitch, and maybe he can make that look count. Referee probably had a look at the young man and said, look, I'll give you a chance, but hopefully the referee applies that to everybody else.
Stuart, you were saying the way Cork City were approaching this semi-final, it was a high-energy approach, and I suppose the question is, can they maintain that now through the second half?
That's the worry, Peter. Yeah, the grass is a little bit longer. I don't know if you can see it on TV, a little bit longer than you would normally expect it, but with the energy levels that Cork are put into this game, you'd have to expect that they're going to wilt at some stage. Whether or not Pats have the bit of quality, we know they have got quality at times, but this man coming on now could certainly make the difference, because they need to change it and bring on probably that little bit of quality that's lacking at the moment.
Okay, the second half is about to get underway, so let's go back to Ken and Desi on commentary.
Yeah, maybe no surprise to see St. Pat's make a change. Jake Mulroney is on, and it is Jordan Garrick who has gone off, so Simon Power switching wings over to the left-hand side. Just need to find that moment of incision from somewhere. 45 minutes for Cork City, the underdogs, who are attacking the shed end in the second half, maybe to find a second goal. They might well need one. And 45 minutes for St. Pat's to keep their cup dreams alive.
Yeah, no surprise. Stephen Kenny hasn't waited too long to make that first substitution. Jake Mulroney, we know the quality which he has, probably doesn't quite produce it consistently enough. He wasn't starting this evening. Watching him play against Galway United a couple of weeks ago. He's got a brilliant goal there. Has real quality. And they need to see that quality now in this second half. St. Pat's, from a creative point of view, hasn't been good enough in that first half. Not enough clear-cut opportunities fashioned. Need to do better in most aspects of the game. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, they won't be heading to the Aviva.
First season, Mulroney with Pat scored 3 times against Cork City. Hurled in by Lyons. Lyons will stay forward here. It's a little block on the attempted clearance by McLaughlin. Fitzpatrick. All action, driving towards the end line, away by Redmond.
Yeah, McLaughlin reminds me a little bit of Julian Dix. That might go over the heads of a few of our younger viewers. He used to play for West Ham back in the old days. Brilliant footballer, socks around his ankles. Really kind of tigerish defender, Des, as you remember. A wonderful player, but great attitude, heart in the sleeve.
Fitzpatrick. Oh, he got an unkind bobble there. No harm done though with Crowley to work it back to Conor Brown. Early shout from Anang.
The lads were speaking at half-time about the kind of energy levels of the Cork City players. But for me, it's kind of the tactical discipline that they've showed sometimes. Just staying in their position, getting the distances right, not actually charging around the pitch too much. Holding their positions, trusting the defensive structure that they have, haven't trusted each other. Make a passing the ball in front of them sideways like they do at the moment. Not really expending too much energy, the Cork City defenders in these situations.
McClelland checks inside. That's keen to find that early second half leveller. Mulroney has got Levy in close support. Now Lennon. Maguire back again to help out. Mulroney. What he can do certainly is deliver from those wide areas with accuracy, with pace. Maguire. Beaten to the punch by Lennon. Now for a Pat's throw-in. Forrester wanted that early. Gliding over towards this left-hand side. Now Power waits for McClelland's. Intentions read by Nolan. And he didn't panic either. Picks a pass out to McLaughlin. Sent away by Crowley. Killed with his first touch by Maguire. He's now on his hands and knees. No whistle from Rob Harvey. Balls are experienced enough to play to a whistle if there is to be one. Anang. Nelson doing the hard graft again.
Yeah, might have been better to avoid conserving his energy there, Nelson.
Forrester releasing Power. Crowley backpedaling still with Simon Power. And Anderson makes the block.
Yeah, Crowley's got a taste. The running speed, Simon Power there. He's going to have to make a little adjustment next time. So much grass behind him. Might have to take a backward step, give himself an extra yard. Maybe allow Power to have the ball into his feet. Once he gets running in behind into space, not easy to keep up with.
So many corners in the first half. You'd imagine they'd have spoken about it. Maybe a variation or two in this second half. Anderson wins another defensive header. Power into space, headed away by Lyons. Picked up by his opposite number, Gravosti. Levy. McClelland's. Now Mulroney. And again, has it on his left. Deep delivery of Fitzpatrick. We've been expecting that one to come through. McLaughlin. Space at a premium over on that far side. Now Fitzpatrick looking for a way out, and he's managed to find one. And what's more, it's ended up with Maguire, who's got a runner in McLaughlin. Just couldn't get the pass away initially, but the attack is still on here. Nolan. Trapped by Levy, who prevents the first cross and the second. Would have shown him Maguire had found himself in a position to release that pass.
Oh, you're absolutely right. There's one opportunity. He's done everything right up until that point. Ball retention was brilliant. What a fantastic move from McLaughlin. Peripheral vision. I thought Sean McGord was about to put that ball in behind. He would have been through McLaughlin and goal. Took the extra touch. The opportunity was gone.
Charlie Lyons winding up again. Doesn't get a whole lot on it. First header is won by Lennon. This will fall for Bolger. And now he was just nudged off it in the act of shooting. He and Evan McLaughlin appealing in vain to Rob Harvey for a free kick.
Yeah, it was for Chris Forrester, wasn't it? Bit of disguise here. Look, Faines takes around Forrester. Look at Forrester's left arm coming out. Could easily been a free kick. Very dangerous area. Probably felt as if he had to make the challenge, Chris Forrester, otherwise he's given him a free shot, just knocked him off balance with that bit of contact.
And Cork City maintain these energy levels. The longer they can hold Pats out, the more Pats will have to push. There might be spaces to exploit, but Melia on the run here, back to his feet. Melia feeds it through towards Mulroney. The offside flag goes up. It was an intricate bit of work between the pair.
Just got to be a little bit careful, Cork. That's twice now. Ball in behind Crowley for the run assignment power. And then again, Mason Melia down the side. You don't get pressure on the ball. You're trying to keep a high line. It can be dangerous. I've got a bit of speed there with Melia and Simon Power. Just got to be careful. They're not putting the high press on. No bad thing for me to just take another 5-10 yard steps back to that back three towards the penalty box. Not allow Melia Power to use that pace in behind.
Asked Nash during the week about formations because he's played a few in terms of a back four versus a back three and wing backs, and he said formations don't really matter if you don't do the basics well. I'm sure that message hammered home again tonight. Do the basics well, work for each other. Semi-finals, cup semi-finals, attitude comes into it in a big way.
Yeah, I disagree with him slightly, to be honest with you. I think formation kind of does matter. Some players are more comfortable in certain formation suits them better. You'd have to say the balance of this Cork City team has been good. They look comfortable in this formation. The back three of Anderson, Feely and Lyons, very comfortable in each other's company there. Fitzpatrick, we've spoken about, right foot playing in a left wing back position, but even still, he's done fine. Crowley, we know how versatile he is. Just that kind of partnership in midfield has served them well, and a real cutting point to the attack. You know, Nolan and playing off Shawnee Maguire, Kid Nelson as well. So I think the formation has worked there. The attitude's been right. They've done the basics. The fundamentals have all been there, absolutely. But I think the tactical setup of the team has helped that. I think the manager deserves credit for that.
And Rory Feely anchoring that back three, back five. Had a lot at right back in his St. Pat's days. Here's Mulroney. Racing with Fitzpatrick. Support there from Levy. And McLaughlin. Lennon. Too much zip on that one for Power.
Yeah, this is when they look comfortable, Cork, when they retreat to the edge of their penalty box. There's Pats are struggling to break them down. There's no space in behind to use the pace of Power necessarily. Amelia, where they look a little bit susceptible the opening period of the second half, when they're 20-30 yards further up the pitch. Looks at Joe Redmond spinning those balls in behind down the side. So another example there. Mulroney driving in behind Fitzpatrick. Just got to be wary of that, Cork. Be smart.
Forrester. Mulroney. On his right. Deep cross right around the back. Power's got a touch to it. McClelland's lovely first touch to earn himself that crossing chance. And Anderson might be just 18 years of age, but he's playing like a man a lot older. He's defended that near post area very well.
Yeah, playing like the old man in his prime. There's what I thought you were going to say, but he has done, defended that near post. That was a better cross from McClelland and wasn't floated up, making it easy for the Cork City centre halves.
Well, that came at Forrester pretty quickly. He had to make a decision.
But again, McClelland trying to drive that ball along the ground across that 6-yard box. It's a better ball. That's more typical defender. You're 6'3", centre half, have to adjust your feet quickly heading towards your own goal. Need to mix up their variety a bit from wide areas. Pats quality hasn't been great. Balls floated into the box. Cork City centre halves have dominated. Need to get a bit more creative with the final ball into the box.
Well, Mulroney off the bench at half-time and got more quality there as well. The likes of Conor Carty, who scored in that semi-final here 2 years ago, and Brandon Kavanagh. What a ball that is for Nolan, and he's checked on the inside. Alex Nolan. McClelland gets across, it breaks for Nelson, deflected. Just took the sting out of it and made it a comfortable save for Anang.
And another example, there's how dangerous Cork can be. They break out from that defensive structure.
Power at pace again. The pull back towards Melia, who completely missed his kick. The attack kept alive by Mulroney. McLaughlin. Lennon in that position again to receive, and on to Forrester. Jason McClelland might fancy this one, and does fancy that one. Good quality in that left foot of his, just always veering off target.
Yeah, had an opportunity, similar opportunity, fourth half, just over the bar. Greg Bulger getting over there eventually, a little bit too late. Just felt Nolan could have pulled the trigger a little bit earlier there. Nelson shifting his feet. Decent block from Joe Redmond, just gets a small block on it. Definitely carrying the threat, Cork, with the breakout, the pace they have on the counter-attack. Nolan, Nelson in particular. Still feel as if there's a second goal for them here. They're brave enough to keep pushing. Just got to be careful the other end though. Pass look a little bit more dangerous there down to the opening kind of 10 minutes of this half. That was a better cut back as well. Cladden down the left-hand side, cutting it back for a non-Russian Mason Melia. That's the type of ball now I'm talking about. A lot harder to defend against. Surprised again, Melia, similar to the first half. He didn't make a connection with it.
All in all, with a couple of notable exceptions in Fiacre Keller and Sean Murray, it's a very young Cork City bench. They'll likely need to look to it at some point. But so much energy expended, so much effort in the almost hour that we've had so far. But when you're ahead, it gives you that extra bit in the legs. This home crowd will be doing likewise. Clellan back inside. Forrester, the three-time FAI Cup winner, they'll look to him. Clellan again. Forrester once more. They look up, every Cork City player back behind the ball. Redmond put some zip on that one to give Mulroney a chance to get going here. Gets it in right-footed again. Maguire working, and that's what Cork City have to do.
Oh, it's brilliant centre-forward play again. Just goal dust. There's moments like this, defending in numbers, expending energy, pop a ball to your centre-forward, surrounded by Pat's players, praying he's going to protect it, keep possession for you, get your free kick, get your breather. That's exactly what he does. Gets Cork City 50-60 yards further up the pitch.
Well, he said he asked his teammates this week to just give him 90 minutes tonight, and that could earn them the biggest day of their career to this point. St. Pat's still over a half an hour to go, but the clock is ticking. Melia. Feeling he stood his ground. Free kick awarded to Mason Melia.
Yeah, you're not going to physically intimidate this kid. Seen too much of him play. There's seen him getting bounced around the pitch, picks himself up, keeps coming back for more. Real strong character, something so young.
These moments, Pats have to be careful again. They've so many players committed forward. Any loose touch in midfield, any loss of possession, Cork City will be looking to exploit. The latest cross comfortably taken by Conor Brand. Bulger. Calmly rolled forward by Crowley. McLaughlin. Bulger again. Maguire unable to get on the end of that one.
Yeah, right idea from Bulger. Just pop that into the chest of Sean Maguire. Doesn't fancy run the channels too much now. Sean Maguire, the type of ball that can get it into his feet in those areas. You know he's going to secure it. You can get the likes of Nelson, Nolan breaking off with that kind of leg speed that they have.
The hope at the start of the season for Cork City was Maguire and Rory Keating combination, and how many goals that might bring and where that might put them in terms of the table. Rory Keating lost to a very bad and very unfortunate injury so early in the campaign.
Sean Maguire as well was out for a chunk of the early season. Absolutely right there. Took a huge amount of goals out of the team.
Had to mix and match as a result. They got Gennaro Daniels in for a short period of time. He weighed in with 5 goals before he was on his way again. Seen young Matthew Murray, who unfortunately hasn't made it back from injury. A big contribution as well as he breaks through in terms of the first team. Redmond stepping in here. With purpose. Does he fancy pulling the trigger? No. And Lennon in the end maybe wishing he hadn't.
Yeah, similar patterns to the first half here. It's no bad thing to a certain extent. Cork sitting on the edge of that 18-yard box. They trust themselves up to this point. And when they pinch the ball off Cork, get it into the feet of Seanie Maguire, they look as if they can break out quickly on the counter-attack. It could be the plan between now and the end of the game. The lad speaking about fatigue setting in. Have to recognise that. Don't go pressing the ball now too high up the pitch, chasing down the opposition goalkeeper. Conserve your energy. Trusting that deeper defensive block. And look to break out from that in the counter-attack. I think they can do that, Cork. I think they can score it again.
Lovely drop of the shoulder from Josh Fitzpatrick, and he continued his run on there. Charlie Lyons across to take the throw in right in the shadow of his manager. Jerry Nash from League Slipu earned a move in his teenage years to Ipswich, but two bad knee injuries and complications meant he retired. I had to retire very early. Made his way and forged a good career, a good path for himself in coaching. Forward with Ipswich, with Aston Villa, FAI high performance. This would be a huge result for him in the club. Not there yet though.
Greg Bulger again, that experience we spoke about. Getting exposed down the left-hand side of his pass, just selling himself a little bit. Bulger recognising getting across, snuffing out the danger.
And does he have 90 minutes in him, Greg Bulger? He's only started now 11 games this season.
To drag him off there, surely no way he's coming off in a game of this magnitude. What's at stake?
An umpteenth corner here for St. Pat's. They'll be hoping, the Pats fans behind the goal far side there, that law of averages might even work out for them here. Haven't really caused a problem for Conor Brand though, and they won't there either. Headed away by Dara Crowley. Levy checks onto his left, headed away by Feely. Piece is picked up by McClellan, who glides into the penalty area. Forrester and Lennon and Mulroney. Good angle for him to conjure something. Little step over. Oh, he'd expect a lot better and a lot more of himself there.
Oh, so frustrating. Done the hard thing, a little kind of shimmy, got himself a yard of space here. Has to do better. Simple as that. Spoke about that first half, little balls being floated in. He's going to whip that in with a bit of quality off his left side. Really test those Cork defenders. Has to be better.
Crowd tonight of almost 5,500 at Turner's Cross.
Just beating the amount of loo rolls that were thrown on the pitch. There's
They've created an atmosphere that takes you back to the good days, if we could say that, which weren't too long ago, but I think back 2 years ago, the playoff in Tala against Waterford. Barry Bagley, who's on the bench for Pats tonight, was part of that Waterford team that sent Cork City down, bounced back up very comfortably in the first division, and then had to tackle this challenge again. A wasted free kick this time from Bulger, and Anang looks to go early, and Melia racing away into space and found by Anang. What a touch to get under his spell. And on he goes, Mason Melia. Cork need to make a challenge. It's Lyons who does. Nelson. McLaughlin into the tackle. Redmonds. Skipper looking to drive his side forward. Ball cut out by Fitzpatrick, then Bulger, McLaughlin, and now Maguire. He's offside.
Yeah, it's unlike Seanie Maguire there. Didn't work hard enough to get himself back in an onside position. Good work again from Cork in that left-back position. Todd was defending again from Fitzpatrick. Bulger getting involved. Clever little pass. And looking to get Maguire in behind. Just didn't quite time it right.
So here comes the latest change. And it's a telling one. Right back taken off. Striker brought on. Conor Carty, who, as we mentioned, scored in the semi-final here 2 years ago. Beautiful goal it was as well. Cork looking to exploit the places now that McLaughlin's departure might afford them. Kit Nelson. A 20-year-old on loan from Preston. This is breakthrough season in senior football. And how he has enjoyed it on Leeside. Levy, beautifully done, taking 2 Cork players out of the action. Derek Crowley trying to get back against Lennon. We look for the reverse ball for Melia. Picked up by Anderson, end-to-end now. Here goes Nolan. Went straight into the challenge of Forrester and left a bit on Forrester as well. He's not happy with the challenge, voicing his displeasure to Rob Harvey, and Anderson has been beaten by Melia. The ricochet, where's it going? It's working for Cork City. But Freddie Anderson on a booking from that first half. Needs to keep his wits about him.
It's to be careful, Cork. They don't open this game up too much. Great example there, Alex Nolan breaking down the right-hand side, checks back inside. I know it was Devin McLaughlin in the centre midfield position, made a forward run 20 yards ahead of him there, took a big gamble and vacated the whole central area of the pitch. Alex Nolan gives it away and immediately St. Pat's are attacking down that central area of the pitch. He's going to pick and choose his moments now. Evan McLaughlin, his team are 1-0 up. Now getting to the last 20 minutes of the game, he's got to be so careful now, sit behind the ball by and large.
Here is Maguire. Working his way inside the penalty area. A poor shot that comes to nothing ultimately.
Oh, he's going for goal there. Does he fancy that? Inside that near post. Could have smashed this across the box. Alex Nolan's doing his best to get into that 6-yard box, but he fancied his chances there from an almost impossible angle. Crashing that inside underneath the crossbar.
It just keeps St. Pat's on their toes, doesn't it? Knowing that he's there. Levy trying his luck down the left-hand side. Crowley slid in, made life uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's important that Crowley there doesn't make the tackle. Des doesn't block the cross, but he's close enough to hurry him, to harry him, forcing him maybe delivering that cross a split second earlier than he would have wanted. Kane Levy. It all matters.
So you've got Simon Power now as a kind of nominal right back. You've got Carty up top with Melia. You've got Gravosti again challenging with Maguire. Hoisted forward by McClelland. This will break for Lyons. Carty up in chase. Nelson letting the ball do the work. Excellent bit of work by Nelson. Needs support now. Finds it in Bolger. Fitzpatrick backing himself to drive on the inside of Mulroney. Now needs someone. Risky ball, but it will find its way to Crowley. That's the benefit of the breaking ball of Cian Levy. Slips it inside. Here's Evan McLaughlin. 2-0. A rapier-like finish. Cork City closing in. Still 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more to go. But they found a fabulously incisive moment here, and what a finish from Evan McLaughlin.
Oh, spectacular finish. Just been tearing strips off the goal scorer 2 minutes ago. The Des for getting too far ahead of the ball. Oh, what do I know? What a brilliant goal. Spoke with this Cork City team, still carrying a threat. A little bit of luck here. They take advantage of it. Crowley drives forward. Looks up, that's a beautiful little pass to the outside of his right foot. But it's all about just hitting the target. Brilliant force touch from McLaughlin. Only one thing in his mind, look, he's not passing that. He's not sliding that across the 6-yard box. Alex Nolan nearly takes him out. It's all about making good contact. That doesn't do it justice how hard he strikes that ball inside the near post.
2 touches, 1 huge goal for Evan McLaughlin and Cork City. The man who started his footballing career up north in his hometown Derry City, making a big impact down south. His second season, that's his 6th this campaign. 2 in the quarter-final up in Ballybofey. And Maguire, outstanding hold-up play again. And McLaughlin on the move again. And he might be in again. Evan McLaughlin takes it early, 3-0. What a night for Cork City here. 2 goals in quick-fire fashion from Evan McLaughlin. But Seanie Maguire again with a huge role to play in it. McLaughlin's energy levels and his finishing ability. Look at this scoreline now. Cork City 3, St. Patrick's Athletic 0.
No, he can't believe it. We can't believe it. Nearly dropped the mic here himself when that ball hit the back of the net. Oh, phenomenal play from Cork. Playing on the crest of a wave now. Seanie Maguire, unbelievable. Received the ball back to play under pressure, turns his man, head up looking for the next pass. McLaughlin again driving out central midfield, doing exactly what I told him not to do 10 minutes ago, Des. There's a little bit of luck to deflection off Joe Redmond, but again, only one thing in his mind. Saw how clinical he is off his right-hand side 2 minutes ago. Now we're seeing how good he is off his left.
A quarter-final brace, a semi-final brace for Evan McLaughlin. Absolutely remarkable. Well, no surprise, he's out on his feet here. He has not stopped all evening, and he has come up with 2 big rewards for his efforts. His number being held up on the far side. He's going to go off, and what an experience to come on here in the form of Sean Murray. An FAI Cup semi-final goal scorer in what was a very routine night back in 2020 for Dundalk down in Athlone. This is the kind of experience you want to bring on to see the game through, but Evan McLaughlin, the last 5 minutes, has just exploded into this game.
Oh, but it's just about to finish. The lead up to it, there's real quality.
Rory Feely with a big defensive header. Pats need one, and they need one quickly. Struggling to find the one. They need 3 at least. The time is against them. Jamie Lennon. Oh, it's as close as they've come.
Yeah, but it's more the same, Des, isn't it? Struggling to get through that Cork rear guard, like 1-2s, little combinations, having no joy with that. Eventually having to pull the trigger from outside of the box. Seen this kind of 4 or 5 occasions. It's a good sign from a Cork City point of view. Haven't really penetrated that Cork City rear guard all lead and got into wide areas. Quality of the balls in the box haven't been good enough. Cork City central defenders dominating that area of the pitch. They've always looked a threat. There's on the counter-attack Cork. 2 different styles of play. Possession-based. Pass, multitude of passes. Cork steal the ball off and within 10 seconds up the other end of the pitch quickly on the counter-attack, and very effective at it.
And you talk about goals at good times. 1-0, such a dangerous lead, and Pats with quality, even if they're not really showing it tonight. But rat-a-tat goals 2 and 3 from Evan McLaughlin. What a night for Cork City.
They're just going to clear their heads. They're in dreamland at the moment, those players. This is what the likes of Greg Bulger, for me, the more experienced players come into their own, calming everybody down, getting them switched on, actually, Des. Not get too ahead of themselves, 3-0 up, thinking of the cup final in the Aviva. It's all about the here and now, the next 15 minutes, seeing this game out.
6 clean sheets in the entirety of the season. Contrast that with St. Pat's 20 coming down here. But they've been picked off. Cork City have held firm. That back 3 has certainly stood up to be counted. Tireless efforts of Crowley and Fitzpatrick in the wide areas, ably assisted by Nolan and Nelson, who are here for their attacking abilities but asked to do a job tonight, and they've done it.
Oh, absolutely, Des. Talk about a collective effort. Seanie Maguire maybe not spending too much energy when his team's out of possession, but that's smart, Des, because they need him switched on when they turn the ball over, and he has been. He's made the difference.
Feely. Well, that was a bit obvious from Carty, climbing all over Cork City defender.
Yeah, I think it's the right substitution, getting Carty on. Just shared the load a bit, nice and immediate, maybe open up a bit more space for him, but hasn't helped so far. Cork are dominant and looking confident. Has been a disappointing season, of course, haven't kept enough clean sheets. This has been different. This has been inspired this evening from this Cork City team. And him in particular, central midfield, right and forward. Finishes like a centre forward does. Left foot, right foot, doesn't matter. He must be devastated to be taken off. He's on a hat-trick. He just needed a headed goal to complete the perfect hat-trick.
Well, up to tonight, the only games they'd scored 3 goals in this season were Leicester Celtic, when they were held scoreless for the first 69, and Finn Harps in the quarter-final. They're liking this FA Cup this season. It's doing something for them. And Stephen Kenny now throwing anyone of an attacking ilk on. Brandon Kavanagh is coming on. Alamin Kazim is on. He's going to replace McClelland at left back. Ian Levy off, Jamie Lennon off, Barry Bagley, who, as we mentioned, has history against Cork City from his Waterford days. But something's got to work, and now Cork City will respond with changes of their own. Greg Bolger will make way. What a big night for him at the heart of that midfield. Or is he making way? He's gone over for some instruction.
Any lines, isn't it? Not initially.
We'll figure it out in a moment. Fiacre Kelleher is on though. Kit Nelson's gone. So Charlie Lyons' departure means Rory Feely goes left to the back three. Fiacre Kelleher into the middle. Now they're looking for the corners, and Maguire. Hayden Camera also in. Here's Maguire on the side and winning the corner of Joe Redmond.
Yeah, I don't think Sean Maguire needs to encourage his home support to get behind the team. They've loved what they've seen of this Cork City team this evening. Everything's been there, all aspects of the performance. Exactly what you want as a manager. You dream of days like this, everything comes together. Hasn't done for the majority of the season. Actually had a tough slog here. They've kept at it, this team. They've kept together. Do sense that it is a sense of unity amongst the players, and it's shone through this evening.
Some fans trying to grab Greg Bolger's jersey and get a souvenir for the evening. Redmond into Brandon Kavanagh. All happening in front of Cork City again, though, as they see once more frustrate their visitors. Bagley with the ball forward, Kavanagh with the layoff. Forrester goes wide. Simon Power taking on Kamara. The youngster from Liverpool stands his ground. Redmond again. Just over 10 minutes plus additional time. It would take something miraculous now from St. Pat's. So you don't often see held scoreless. Even the attacking riches, they've got at their disposal. Gravosti slips it, good movement from Melia. Pulls it back to the edge, Brandon Kavanagh. Didn't take it on. Bagley will, but it's a tame effort.
Empty in the bench, really. No kind of necessarily rhyme or reason to the substitutions he's making, opening. Something will happen quickly for his team. And that Chris Forrester here, unusual. His influence tonight has really been on the periphery of the game. Torn player for St. Pat's from a great point of view. And everything goes through him. Big match player. Just haven't seen too much of him this evening. Jamie Lennon on the bench already. Cork City, every one of those players have turned up.
Nice touch from Sean Murray. Josh Fitzpatrick still with the energy levels to race and harry and chase Redmond. This is going to put pressure on Pats as well in terms of the league. This is to end as Cork City's night. Currently sitting in 5th, 46 points, only 5 points off second, but 4 big games to end the season on the way. Brandon Kavanagh overcooks that one towards Mulroney.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Des, coming into this game this evening.
4 games left, incidentally, for Pats. Rovers, Bows, Waterford and Shells.
Shells is the one. They're looking at that for a while now. Des thinking, I just feel as if there's going to be something big on that game. Away to Shells, chasing down ideally that 3rd spot. 4th may be good enough. Even 4th's no guarantee, Des, is it? Looks like Derry Bows looking strong at the moment. Drogheda aren't going to give it up. Shells as well, everything to play for. Atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric down Salford Park, that last game of the season.
And Pats might well need Rovers to win the cup, to win the double.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you, I didn't envisage that start of the season, Des. I felt as kind of Pat's squad was good enough to challenge for a league title. It is a surprise so far behind Rovers at this stage of the season. Not only so far behind Rovers, but in a real struggle to get one of those European places, top 4 in particular.
And this is interesting, they've still sent all 3 centre halves up for this free kick. Bolger will drill it. Kelleher wins the first header, away in the half volley by Simon Power. Bolger there again, and Murray, clever, sensible header. Young Matthew Kiernan has arrived on unbeknownst to me in that flurry of substitutions. The 18-year-old who started out at Douglas Hall and went into the Cork City Academy. Debut the opening day of last year and ended up with a broken leg against Kerry, but really well regarded and well thought of here. And that is his tackle to put the ball out of play on the far side. Redmond to Bagley. Here's Kazim. Mulroney. Good angle to get a cross in. Dangerous ball as well, and Fiacre Kelleher diving to head behind. Back home in the summer after heading off 13 years ago to join Celtic as a teenager. Career spent in Scotland and England. And there he is to win the header again, brother Queeveen. He's played some big games at the Aviva. Fiacre hoping to follow suit, and Cork almost there. Cross in from Gravosti. Didn't have much zip in it, and he's mopped up everything since he's come on. Fiacre Kelleher.
Yeah, must be a bit fed up with his brother stealing the limelight there, eh? Wants a bit for himself, why not?
Brandon Kavanagh. Melia, sharp turn. There's always another white shirt waiting for him.
I think if you're a Cork City player, Cork City defender there in this situation, you want to keep the clean sheet, you're greedy. Not necessarily another goal, but I'm going to take a bit of pride, those clean sheets. Haven't kept enough of them all season.
We talk about a night when they timed their goals well. You couldn't have asked for better, really. The early one from Maguire just to keep that positivity in the team. And then 2 in quick succession from Evan McLaughlin.
Oh, he's handing that captain's armband off there. He should keep it on. He should walk off the pitch with the captain's armband on. He's been inspirational for his team this evening. He's led from the front. I think his teammates have drawn strength from his performance, particularly in that kind of first half. Maybe would have been a bit of nervousness, a bit of self-doubt amongst the Cork City players, but not from the captain. He's led from the front. Inspirational performance, Sean Maguire.
From a captain who's done so much in his career to a young man making his way. Brodie Lee is on. There's a snapshot on the turn from Carty. Brodie Lee, along with Billy Hayes, who's on the bench for Pats tonight. Part of the under-17s that have qualified for the World Cup coming up at the end of this year. From Tipperary. spell at Shamrock Rovers, but now a Cork City player, Brodie Lee, and he has gone up top.
Yeah, wonderful to see this young talent coming through. It's always been there. Hopefully it'll always continue.
This will go down as Cork City's biggest win in years. Forrester. Crowley's there, one of three Cork locals who started the game in this Cork City starting 11. Seanie Maguire, you'd say, is an adopted Corkman. And for others, we've seen Matthew Kiernan come on as well. There's always a need for those home players in a team. Means so much to them, especially the young players coming through the academy, which is overseen by Liam Carney.
Yeah, means a lot to supporters as well. It does. They can really associate those young local players that kind of come through. They do view them as being different. It means a lot to the support base.
Right, ball out of play, and Conor Brand will take his time to get this restarted. So let's do your player of the match then tonight, Kenny.
Oh, Des, where do I start? Shall I just name the Cork City team from the goalkeeper right up to the centre forward? It's been that good. Hasn't been less than an 8 out of 10 performance in that Cork City team. You don't experience that too much as a manager and collectively as a group, but I have to pick one out. It's got to be their captain, Seanie Maguire. I thought he was great in that opening period of the game. The first goal that he was absolutely phenomenal. Led from the front, everything he did was right in that first half. It was a masterclass in terms of centre forward play. Brilliant performance from him. Ed McLaughlin, of course, got the 2 goals, but this man for me, tonight's man of the match.
Sports Direct FAI Cup semi-final. Player of the match is chosen by Kenny Cunningham, the Cork City captain. First goal scorer tonight, Seanie Maguire. It's a stunning goal, but it was the outlet that he offered as well. And he is heading back to an FAI Cup final. Mulroney. Brand can afford a slight fumble at the near post. And Gather again. He's not been overly worked tonight, has he? That would be a big disappointment.
Maybe a 7 out of 10.
That would be a big disappointment for Stephen Kenny.
Oh, huge. Just goes to show you, Des. I mean, you know, we're stats thrown at us in the modern game in terms of passes completed in possession. Haven't looked at the stats for it tonight. Not really interested, to be honest with you. You know, your eyes don't lie. Passive dominated, I'd say, in terms of passes completed, possession of the football. But really, it's the scoreline that really matters. Cork have made it count when they've took the ball off them. They've carried a real threat, particularly on the counter-attack. Really smart in how they've set up today. It's perfect, really tactical plan. Jerry Nash, David Morler, to take a huge amount of credit. They might have taken some criticism this season for the reasons you're saying. There's lack of clean sheets, where they are at the table. But tonight, they deserve all the applause. They've earned it, they deserve it. Taking Cork City to an FAI Cup final, it's been a long time. I hope they come up to Dublin in big numbers, create a great atmosphere here at Turner's Cross. I hope they replicate that in the Aviva in a couple of weeks' time.
27 years ago, Derek Collin with the goal against Shells. 2007, Dennis Bean against Longford. Seanie Maguire at the death of extra time in 2016 against Dundalk, and then 2017, a cup defended in a penalty shootout against the same opposition. They've hurt Stephen Kenny in the past, and they've hurt him tonight on his 1000th game as a club manager. Not one he'll look back on fondly. Never got to their levels, never allowed to get to their levels. A real team performance from Cork City. And now all they'll want is to see this through with a clean sheet and complete a remarkable 3-0 victory. Nelia going the long way around. Forrester. Look how many bodies in the box, and Bran alerted his near post.
Yeah, it's why we love the game, Des. Why we keep turning up. Pats, such strong favourites for this game tonight. So difficult to make a strong argument for Cork to win this game this evening. But that's what they've done. They've won it in style.
Brandon Kavanagh with the in-swinger. And between them, Feely, Anderson, Kelleher, Lyons. How many defensive headers have they won? Sean Murray. Breakdown in communication with Brodie Lee, but backing up the play is the All action, Joshua Fitzpatrick. And now Bolger, his inclusion tonight was key. Could he be on course to win yet another FAI Cup, Greg Bolger?
Yeah, he's done great. He's been so influential in the centre area, that midfield. Bolger, in an understated way, Des hasn't gone around crashing into people, making tackles, going off his feet. Just been sensing danger, reading the play, making interceptions, shutting passing lanes. When he's got the ball, he's kept it simple, retained possession for his team. You can see him there, just sliding across, closing down those pass lanes, doubling up as he is now. He's done that time and time again.
Kelleher lunged in. That will bring a free kick. 22 or 3 yards out. Greg Bolger, at one point he couldn't stop winning FAI Cups. He won 4 in the space of 7 years, but 6 years without one.
They can't get bored of winning them, surely.
I think it just shows the influence he's had at all the clubs he's been at in his career, though.
Every one of them is a different experience. But I think with a different club, this stage of his career, Des, you could argue in some respects this might mean a little bit more to him. Get to a cup final, you know, you haven't got a huge amount, another 10 years left in you. You've got to make everyone count.
And then Kavanagh straight into that wall. Bagley on the follow-up, charged down by Feely. And then it's Mulroney, and that sums up St. Pat's night in an attacking sense. Haven't carried a threat. Loads of possession, loads of corners. And Conor Brown has had a comfortable night. And for the goal scorers, and they can start looking ahead now. They'll have to marry what was likely to be the disappointment, what's coming up in the league, with what's coming up in a cup final. And Ger Nash mentally will have to get everyone to the right pitch, but he had them at exactly the right pitch tonight. A remarkable night on the banks of the Lee, a performance of attitude and character, of grit and guts and togetherness, and of course Turner's Cross, a night of nights in what's been a most difficult season. A storm brewing over the last 24 hours. Well, Cork City have brought it tonight, and they've knocked out St. Pat's at the semi-final stage, heading back to the Aviva.
Oh, huge congratulations, Ger Nash, David Moore, the coaching staff and all the players. What a collective effort. And this just wasn't a performance full of kind of grit, enthusiasm, never say die. It was more than that. It was more sophisticated than that. They had a real kind of plan this evening from a tactical point of view, and they executed it absolutely perfect. They kept this talented St. Pat's out for an entirety of 90 minutes, hardly gave up any clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities, and scored 3 goals of absolute top class. They really were. It was kind of a masterclass from a tactical point of view, and in such a pressurised environment in an FAI Cup semi-final. Wonderful evening for these players, and look at those supporters. They spent
haven't seen a pitch invasion in a while.
Yes, protesting the first 5 minutes of the game. Look at them now. Look at their faces now, going rejoicing with the players, kind of sharing the moment with them. It's great to see.
They'll be heading down for the autographs of Alan Cawley and Stuart Byrne in a moment, after they get those of their heroes out there. Josh Fitzpatrick, as we said, his manager has said that he is well, a heart and soul, really. Even at the age of 20, it means so much to him to play for this club, and he played his part tonight for St. Pat's. A devastating night. They came here as favourites. They will head back up the road, well beaten. What a night for Cork City. They're heading back to an FAI Cup final, and they do so off the back of a 3-0 semi-final victory.
Yeah, scenes of great joy, needless to say, here at Turner's Cross. It's been a challenging season for Cork City, but tonight their supporters, players and their coaching staff can really celebrate after a very deserved victory. And right now we can hear from the man of the match. He led by example. Shawnee Maguire is now with Tony.
Thank you, Peter. And Ciara Murray, who's the head of marketing for Sports Direct, is here to give Shawnee a well-deserved Player of the Match award. Congratulations, Shawnee, to you and your team tonight. What an extraordinary result.
Yeah, I think everyone's been disappointed in the whole season itself. We probably haven't been good enough throughout the seasons. We can kind of come up with excuses with injuries at the wrong time, but I suppose tonight was us in a nutshell. We started the game really well. We got in the front foot. I scored a goal early enough. It was more so kind of weather the storm getting half time, and we knew we were going to have chances in the second half. I think obviously Evan McLaughlin has been chipping in with the goals lately, and you know, when he gets chances like that, I know he's going to put it away. So look, I'm just delighted for everyone around here. You know, it's something to kind of shout about after a disappointing season. And look, if even the 9th of November, that everyone's going to obviously look forward to, you know.
Let's talk about the beginning of the game, the composure that you showed and the leadership you showed. You've obviously been thinking about this for a long time.
Yeah, I think personally it's been a tough season, just seeing how the league campaign is going to fizzle out. I've sort of played a different role this season, you know, playing up there by myself, but I think the older I'm getting, the more mature I'm playing. I think that role kind of suits me, and I think some teams think I can't really run in behind anymore, and they've kind of let us run in behind. I got behind the back four, started away, and it's happy days. And then, look, I think we deserve that 3-0. And hey, come on.
Rory Keating with Shawnee. The goal, Shawnee, you've scored some important goals, including one to win the cup final. You've scored for your country, but tonight, the composure to bring it around the keeper, right foot, and then finish with your left foot is one of the best, surely.
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of fine moments in my career, and I've been telling the boys that all week. I've said in the press during the week, if we get to Aviva, that week leading up to the final will be honestly the best weeks of your life. Seeing your family, seeing your kids, your friends, you know, at the biggest stage in Irish football. And thankfully all these young fellas, these young players, we have a young team, and they're going to relish it. I think they really deserve that. You know, it's been tough for them. A lot of them are playing their first league campaign in the Premier Division of League of Ireland. So, look, I've kind of shown a different side of myself and leadership skills this season, and more so a player that shows my leadership skills by actions, and thankfully I did that tonight.
This is what you came back for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, just everything like this. You know, the young people running on the pitch, moments like this means a lot. I came back to win trophies. Look, we'll obviously watch the game Sunday, get over it against Kerry. You never know what's going to happen. But we'll enjoy this moment, because there hasn't been many moments this year that we've enjoyed, so we'll enjoy these next couple of days.
And briefly, just a word about Evan McLaughlin. I mean, you're the player of the match, and deservedly so. You scored an amazing goal. He got 2 great goals. Evan's
that type of player, you know, he'll come out with something out of nothing. I found that maybe the first half he was quiet, but when he gets to his moments, made a good running behind right foot. Usually for him it's just for standing on, but he scored a nice goal. But on his second one, you know, it was more so, I think it was straight after the second one, I've done well, held it up, and I played him through. Got a bit lucky, but he's put it away nicely, and you just seen how much it means to everyone here. You know, we went off celebrating together individually, and look, as I said, we'll enjoy this moment.
Well done.
Cheers, Tony. Thank you.
Well, he's played some superb matches for Cork City in the past, but probably tonight's performance is right up there with one of his best ever as an individual. But that individual performance, it set the tempo of the game, really, didn't it? Seanie Maguire early on in that first half, Stuart, was really setting the tempo up front. He was causing trouble for Pats, and it kind of set the example for the rest of the Cork City players, and it almost gave them a confidence in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I suppose I shouldn't be astonished by it, but I just think this performance from Cork City has been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And to take your point, Peter, I mean, when you have a player of the experience of Seanie Maguire, having done what he's done in the game, I'm sure he must be a huge role model for all the young players here. But to see him play at the level he played at this evening, and he's no spring chicken, he's still a very young man, but just it must have been quite inspiring for the rest of them, and it happened because McLaughlin, Nelson, Nolan, I mean, right through the team, there wasn't, you could not pick a Cork City player that didn't underperform tonight. They were all absolutely outstanding, and just looking at the reaction from everybody, I mean, what's it going to be like if they win the cup? I mean, it's
yeah, because
I would say one thing, just calm down maybe a little bit, because you've got, I mean, if they can play in the final the way they played it tonight, they've got a proper chance. They really do. Like, and look, I suppose you have to maybe look a little bit beyond what's gone on in the club with the fact that they are going to get relegated. Obviously, this is some sort of release of emotion. But
and I have no problem with them. Celebrate tonight. That's as Stewie said, that's the emotion being let out. That's fine. They'll enjoy tonight, as Shawnee said. They'll prepare. They know they're going to be relegated, Peter. The manager knows that. So I'd say they've wiped that slate clean already. So tonight was a welcome distraction for them in that regard. We spoke to him before the match about it being an isolated match. And one thing that struck me about him as well, Peter, he didn't look like a man who's deflated and down in the dumps. He was very fresh, very energetic, and that was reflected in the team's performance tonight. So they've been absolutely brilliant tonight. They've done their business. Shawnee led by example.
Yeah.
Don't mind Stewie, let them enjoy tonight.
Okay, well, we'll allow the Cork City fans and everybody else celebrate with wild abandon here at Turner's Cross. And after the break, we'll be joined by the Cork City boss, Jerry Nash, to look back at some of the real quality moments of that second half that secured a 3-0 victory and a place in the 2025 Sports Direct FAI Cup final. And you're very welcome back to Turner's Cross, where Cork City have secured their place in the 2025 FAI Cup final. It's been a very special evening for City and their supporters. And what a performance by Evan McLaughlin, his 2 second-half goals, putting the game well out of reach of St. Patrick's Athletic. And we're joined now by Cork City manager Jerry Nash. And first of all, Jerry, I have to get your reaction straight away to what has been a really, really good performance. As far as your tenure in charge of this team is concerned, is that the best they've played?
Look, I think so. I think we'd have to say, I think overall we were pretty defensively secure throughout the game,
yeah.
and our goals some real good quality, really, really excellent finishes. And I thought in the first half as well we had a couple of chances as well to add to it, and on the counter a little bit. Obviously they had most of the ball, but yeah, look, I thought it was a good performance, and really pleased for everyone involved.
Yeah, sometimes it's very hard to carry the performance from the first half into the second, but almost as soon as that second half started, you could still see that Cork City were on the front foot. What was your message to the players overall at half-time?
To improve, to be better, to take the game to them more. I thought when we scored, and maybe after 20 minutes, I thought we were really good first 20 minutes, and after that I thought we maybe set off a little bit too much, and we didn't build up the pitch with the ball enough. We were into a pretty strong wind, to be fair, I would say that. And so it was to be better with the ball and to build our attacks more, and I thought we did that at times in the second half. But then when you score it, you want to hang on to it as well, so you end up sort of obviously the more defensive team in the game, no doubt about it, and they're obviously trying to attack us and change what they did at half time, and we had to adapt to that slightly. But yeah, the message at half time was for us about us and us to be better.
You had a look in your eye before the game. I don't know if you knew this when we spoke to you. You just looked at us and said, I don't know what you're seeing from the outside, but internally we're in good shape. Is that something that's maybe happened in the last few weeks, or something you felt is always there but just hasn't translated onto the pitch? But you just seem so assured that tonight you were going to turn up.
Well, look, I think you asked me before the game about how difficult a job it was to come into, and yeah, it was chaos. But look, I think there's a couple of things that when we came into the club, we knew we had to fight to stay up. But what's just as important and more important, I think, for this football club is to create an identity, and that's why Mark McNulty and David Moyle have come in. We've been brilliant, and we have to have unity as a club, and we made a lot of changes at the club, I think, for the long term of this football club, a lot of changes which will make us better for the long term. Maybe that's not been seen from the outside, and I understand the reaction to results, but we have to build something. There has to be an identity at the football club, especially in this part of the country, in my opinion. Sorry, and I just want to say, and the unity is there. The unity has been in the group, and I feel really strongly about that, and we need that unity going forward, and that's the whole club. The owner has backed me since I've been here. I don't understand everything that's gone on. I was in Scandinavia. I can only talk about since I've come to the club and brought staff to the club and players to the club. He's backed us, and we're trying to form something new, and that's what we'll continue to do.
I felt, even we spoke about the protesting, thankfully nothing kind of came of that, and the crowd I thought were absolutely fantastic for he got them involved in the game straight away. But just on the shape and the structure of the team, which was so impressive, Ger, Pats are a possession based team. Were you quite happy to sit off and sacrifice them having the ball? But I thought he carried such a threat when it went up to Shawnee with the runs of Kit Nelson, Alex Nolan, Evan McLaughlin's energy as well. That was really impressive throughout the night.
Yeah, look, we played a back four up there against them, and the difference on is we had to win. A point, going and getting a point in the league wouldn't have been good enough. When you play with five, you know that you're probably going to be more defensively secure and probably have less attacking threat. We were pretty defensively secure tonight. They had the bulk of possession.
But everything was in front of you. We felt even at half time.
Well, look, we changed because when we went away, it wasn't a reaction to result. We would have liked to play that way anyway. but we couldn't. We had to go and try and chase that game and try and win, and that's why it was part of the reason the scoreline ended it did. But tonight was slightly different. We didn't have to go and chase the game and win the game in the first 20 minutes. We took the lead, but we, could have went to penalties tonight. We just needed to be in the game.
I think what might have surprised a lot of people looking in this evening, Ger, was the fact that they would have been aware of Cork City's position in the league, the likelihood of relegation, and yet the team went out tonight and played with great confidence in their approach. Where did that confidence come from? Has it been a combination of the recent results that has built towards this?
I think it comes from unity. I think I've got a group of players in there that there's a really good bond between us as a staff and players. We work together all the time. They work really hard. I think they've seen some of the changes we've tried to make, and they want to be part of it. I've got people who've moved here. They live here. They want to be here for 2-3 years and build something, and that's because they care. So the confidence, I think, comes from at home. We've had some good performances at home, and we played against Shamrock Rovers, no doubt the best team in the league. In the second half, we were much improved in our performance, and I think there's confidence in that, especially. But look, I think the confidence is because we've got some good players.
It's been a really difficult time for you, obviously, with the results and everything, and we know it's kind of about to happen, if you like. But I think you need to take some credit tonight as well. You're obviously a big night, big result. But the one thing we spoke about before the match, and even when you went off amongst ourselves, there was a freshness and an energy about you. You didn't come across almost like a deflated manager, down in the dumps, feeling like, the inevitable is about to happen. There was a real energy. So is that something you try and re-emphasise day after day with the players?
We work the same way. We'll be in tomorrow morning training. The players are looking for a day off. They won't be getting one, that's for sure.
I give them one. Stewie was telling them not to enjoy themselves and everything.
You can win the competition. You can win the competition.
Yeah, we'll let them enjoy tonight.
Absolutely, but no, look, there's a freshness in the group. We've had to make some really big changes halfway through this season and form a new team. You can see the bulk of the players now. There's been a real change. There's some really good players at this football club when they arrived, but they weren't going to be at Cork City for long. It was a stepping stone for them to go to other places, and we needed to build an identity. We've tried to do that. I understand the anger from the outside, but I can honestly assure people what's going on inside. There's a unity, there's a plan. We're putting that in place, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Okay, Ger, well, listen, many congratulations tonight. We'll let you go because I'm sure you want to have a debrief with the players after tonight's excellent performance. But well done again, and we'll see you on the 9th of November in the Aviva.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks very much to Ger Nash, the Cork City boss. Right now, we're going to hear from one of his players who excelled on the night, and he's one of his more experienced players. It's Greg Bulger. He's now with Tony.
Greg, congratulations. It was a result and a performance that was hardly expected by many people. But tell me about the belief in the dressing room coming up to this game.
Yeah, look, especially after getting bet by him 4-0 there only about a week ago. We had belief. We believe going into the game. Our performances have been very good at home the last month and a half. Look, it's been a tough season for us, realistically. But I think going into this game, we had a game plan. I think we played them down here earlier in the year. It was a 0-0. I thought we could have won the game. It's kind of similar to that game, but we took our chances tonight. I think we fully deserved it. Just overall, it's been a tough season for the whole club. Everyone here involved, players, it's a young group. Lads are learning the game on the job. It's been very tough, but I think tonight is probably a reward. And look, these finals don't come around very often.
They do for you.
Look, I've been lucky enough to be in a few. But it's great for the young lads to experience the whole week, the whole build-up to a cup final, being part of it. But you want to go win it now.
Talk to me about Seanie Maguire tonight, because he had a lot of injury early in the season, and I'm sure he and you were very frustrated. You had a lot of injuries as well, but he led the line so superbly well tonight, and he, that goal really set you up.
Yeah, no, look, Seanie was unplayable tonight. He was magnificent. He led the line for us, and he's been like that all year. It's been hard for him because he's up there battling against some really good centre halves all year, and he never shies away from it. And he's a class act, Seanie, and I thought he was unplayable tonight, and drove us on, gave us that bit of belief leading from the front. And I'm delighted for him, and like I said again, I'm delighted for the whole group, the club, everyone, owner, staff, management, the players, because at the end of the day it's all about the players. And I'm just delighted that we have a chance to go and win a trophy. You want to win it, there's two things to be winning at the start of the year, the league and the cup, and we have a chance now to put a trophy in the club again,
Talk to me about the fan protest and then the way the fans got behind you. That atmosphere tonight was like the glory days here at Turner's Cross, wasn't it?
Yeah, the atmosphere was brilliant. Look, I don't want to talk about the protest. They have their feelings on it, and fair, but look, they've backed us all year, and credit to them. Because it's been hard for them to be hard. There's nights there we had to suffer, and they had to suffer with us. So look, credit to the fans tonight. Thought they were excellent. They drove us on, and hopefully we'll fill the Aviva now.
Well done.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, well done to Greg Bulger. Now, it was a real quality performance, and we have to look back at what were superb goals, 2 superb goals in the second half. We'll also get a chance to revisit the goal from the first half. But Stuart, let's look at Evan McLaughlin's first goal and the wonderful through ball. I think it was Darragh Crowley who played it.
Yeah, just the sheer quality of a picture up here, and once he drifts inside, little nonchalant, outside of the right foot, knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And even the take from McLaughlin, you know, we know he's good on both feet, but naturally probably more on the left foot. But look, take this right foot, and he's hit this so well, struck it so sweet. It's just gone in. It's probably nicked the inside of the bar, and I'm not too sure what he's trying to do as a goalkeeper. I mean, rule number 1, you cover your front post, but not to take away from the quality of the finish and just the sheer, just everything about it was just dynamism, you know.
Yeah, but everything that preceded that, for about 5 to 10 minutes, that goal was on the cards. They were playing some really good football at that point.
They were always a threat in the counter-attack. I mean, at the start of the second half, they sat in, they you know, took a few punches off Pats. Pats became a little bit predictable, and then you always felt, myself and Alan were just saying it just always looked like Cork had the ability to score, especially when Maguire's up front on his own.
Just because the threat they were all night. Nolan, Kit Nelson, the energy, Peter, because Greg obviously is getting on. He's been a brilliant player, but Greg was quite happy to sit, orchestrate things in front of that back four, and then you have Evan McLaughlin, who was kind of marauding all over the place, getting on the end of things.
There was plenty of energy all around the pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's it. We spoke, the manager, obviously, and the crowd. I think the crowd were brilliant, Peter, absolutely brilliant. And even in terms of us, and we speak about this a lot, for the coverage of the league and all, you need a good, thriving Cork City in the league. Yeah. Look at the place tonight, it's absolutely bouncing. Like, we're going to miss this, we're going to lose this, and that's why it's a pity there is some kind of discontent in terms of the club and the owners at the moment, because for such a brilliant club, you want them all to come together and really see them back on the perch that we kind of seen them for many years against Dundalk.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the great reaction of the fans throughout the game, and the one that really sent them wild was Evan McLaughlin's second goal, Cork City's third. Shawnee Maguire with a crucial role.
Yeah, they're in delirium at this stage, Peter. But look at Shawnee Maguire's hold-up play again against the big lad, twice his size, Gravosti. Turns him, not only did he hold the ball in, but turns him, then tries to play the pass again from that run that we had seen so often with Evan McLaughlin getting beyond the front man. He gets a bit of luck, a fortunate ricochet, I think it was off Redmond or Power, but a brilliant finish. He takes it so early, the strike, and that's what catches the goalkeeper out, because he can't set himself.
Shifts his way, absolutely.
And he took it so early, McLaughlin, a brilliant finish. I'd be highly critical of the goalkeeper over the first 2 goals, but certainly not that one. And at that stage, it's game over. You look at the reaction from the bench. As I said, they were in delirium at that stage, and you could feel there was no way. Pats were dreadful as well in terms of, like we mentioned, on the road, Peter, they've lost 10 games, 8 of them have come on the road, so you have to ask questions about that as to why that's happening. It's okay at home in Richmond Park and all the crowd might be with you. You go to difficult places like this, that's where you need to show up. And I felt all season there's something lacking with St. Pat's. Said this during the week, there's something definitely lacking with them in terms of maybe a mentality, a mental toughness, if you like, whatever it is, a bit of resilience, character.
Yeah, but
it's a bit soft for me looking in from the outside.
But even when they did try to muster an attack, Stuart, we were constantly picking out pieces of good defending by Cork City players, the way they were winning the ball back, maintaining their composure, not just booting it upfield. They played really well at the back as well.
Yeah, just bodies reacting, getting, in right time, right place. There's always someone that was there. You know, Freddie Anderson was excellent, Phoebe excellent. Then even when Faker Kelleher came on, huge player. Just always something. Have a look at that. 3/4 Cork City players, not just standing there, filling up empty spaces, just reacting to things, getting themselves into the right place at the right times to make blocks. But they started the second half like that because they were entitled to start the second half like that, because they had done so well in the first half. They got themselves that 1-0 lead, and then they said to themselves, look, let's sit in here, let's pick them off. And then of course they always had that ability to go and break. And they always looked at threat, and ultimately gone and got 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes that ultimately just put the game to bed.
Yeah, and we're going to have a look at the moment that kick-started the whole evening for Cork City, and it was Shawnee Maguire's goal. Wonderful bit of individual play.
Yeah, the whole goal, a brilliant pass by Freddie Anderson. Not sure again about the goalkeeper, but the brilliance of Shawnee Maguire just to have the composure initially. This is a great run, Peter. The awareness to know where the keeper is, a little flick inside him, then he's in control of the situation. Joe Redmond goes lunging in, and he has the presence of mind just to knock it inside him and stroke it into the net. He was unreal all night, Shawnee, and he has been in our league, Peter. He's been brilliant. As I said at half time, he's been capped 11 times by his country, so we're talking about someone with serious pedigree and quality here. And to be fair to him, his partner got injured earlier in the season, Rory Keating. That was obviously a major blow as well to Cork City's chance chances. They were pinning a lot on that partnership. He got injured. Shawnee was injured at the start. But you look at the quality that he has when he is playing at the top of his game. Thankfully, we'll see him in the Aviva in a few weeks, Peter, as well, and hopefully he can produce a moment of magic like that, because he was phenomenal all night.
Yeah, no doubt they'll all certainly look forward to that. What an end to the season it'll be for them. Stuart, bigger picture, how significant is this result for Cork City going forward? And I'm just thinking in terms of the players like Shawnee Maguire, players like Evan McLaughlin. They may stick around for a season in the first division to come back with a stronger squad back to the the Premier Division.
My takeaway, Peter, I'm actually quite taken by Ger Nash's comments here beside us, and then even Greg Bulger. I think there's a clear message coming from the group. They're ultimately trying to send the communication to the supporters. Give this a chance. That's what I'm taking away from it. And this could be a turning point for the club. This particular game could be the game that some of these young players look back and say, do you know what, that's where we kind of grew up a little bit, and then we realise what this game is about and what kind of level, what kind of quality, what energy it takes, and hopefully, look, Alan has said it, I reiterate it, everyone echoes it. Cork City in the first division is just ridiculous. It just doesn't make sense.
The one thing he said, to be fair, and he said it a couple of times, and there's consistency in that messaging and identity. That's what they try to create. They're creating that, to be fair, Peter. Spend a year in the first division, be far better prepared coming back into the Premier Division. They've a lot of them nailed down to long-term contracts that'll keep them together, that unity spoke about, and hopefully we see a thriving Cork City back in the Premier Division in a couple of years.
One thing the supporters don't want is this tag that they've been labelled with in recent years, a yo-yo club going up and down and up and down. They want to stay in the Premier Division, and Cork needs it, Cork City needs it. Stuart, before we go, we have to talk about St Patrick's Athletic, because if they had reached the cup final, it was another possible route to Europe. They're currently 5th in the Premier Division with a little bit of work to do. I mean, it'll be disastrous for St Pat's if they don't make Europe for next season.
I think so. Yeah. Considering the season that we've had, and considering the fact that we've got Shamrock Rovers and Shelbourne into group stage football, Pats will be looking at that now, realising, well, that's where they want to be. The reality is they've got a lot of work to do, and on tonight's performance, and to be quite honest, even on their performance this season, they're off it, and a lot of investment gone in at Pats. They brought in a lot of players, a lot of expectation on them this year, just haven't really responded to it. So I would say there might be a few changes in the off-season.
Yeah, we were hoping to hear from Stephen Kenny, but he's obviously still having a chat with his players after what has been a very disappointing night. But Alan, we have to finish on a positive note, because for Cork City, this has been a great evening, hasn't it?
Absolutely brilliant, Peter. Yeah, and there was talk beforehand as well. We weren't sure what we were coming in to expect, I suppose, in terms of a protest. When you hear those kind of words, you think negativity. Thankfully, none of that transpired, Peter. They had their little moment, the fans. After that, the fans were brilliant, and that's what I felt before the game. Get behind the team. Tonight's a huge opportunity, huge chance. Thankfully, that's what's transpired. The players delivered on the pitch, got the crowd on side, and here we are now with a winning feeling.
Can I just say about that protest, at the end of the day, we were all anticipating what it might be, what it mightn't be. It was a little bit half-hearted. I don't think the supporters' hearts were actually fully in that protest, really, was it? Were they?
Look, obviously
there is discontent.
Obviously, there is discontent. I know that. But the interesting thing is that the supporters have made their point.
Yeah.
But the team have come back and said, hang on, just give it, maybe give this a chance. I mean, you can't ignore what the manager and the players have just said to the supporters. So maybe they need to get together and have a little cry or have a hug or something like that.
Yeah,
like what me and you were going to have now.
Yeah, well, off you go. Well, the Cork City supporters, they definitely go home happy tonight. We'll find out who Cork City will be facing in Tallaght Stadium on Sunday as Kerry Football Club make their very first appearance in an FAI Cup semi-final. And of course, they're going to be taking on record cup winners Shamrock Rovers. Our coverage begins at 5:30 on Sunday evening, and if that game is half as good as this, well, we're in for another treat. That's all we have time for tonight. My thanks to Alan and Stuart for joining me on a night Cork supporters can savour as their city slickers slayed the Saints. Good night.